Welcome, everyone, to episode 99 of the Looks Like a Movie podcast. My name is Kevin. I'm here with Doug and Owen, and today we are talking about the year in movies, 2024's best movies, worst movies, and a bunch of other categories that we'll go through. But before we get to our weekly watches, one final reminder, our second reminder, that next week is episode 100, our Q&A episode. I'll post a second tweet if you didn't leave questions under the first tweet. Other than that, you can also leave questions in the comments of this episode on YouTube and Spotify. You can email them to us, lookslikeamoviepod@gmail.com. I don't think many people are using the email route, but nobody cares about anonymous questions, I guess.
And well,
And and you could also, if you're in our Discord or if you want to join our Discord, there's a channel in there for you to drop the questions in there as well. Any of those methods are viable. You can leave your questions and I will go through them all and pick some for next week's episode. So make sure you get those in before we record that. But for now, we can talk about what we watched this past week. I could get us started. I guess we're just talking about how we started the new year. I watched
yeah.
Hodgepodge twice. An Owen short. Watched it twice. Well, I watched it and then last night I made my girlfriend watch it. I think she
You
appreciated it
made her,
as
yeah, you
well.
like
Yeah,
traveled back and like forced her to
yeah.
watch.
No, you caught me. I rewatched Trap because I was making my kind of best of 2024 videos, and so I was like, I'm gonna watch one of my favorite movies of the year while doing that. So I kind of threw that on. Rewatched 10 Things I Hate About You because that's just a normal thing for me to do. I rewatched The Conformist because I bought a 4K for Christmas of it. It was a movie that I saw however many years ago in
Like
school,
30
and I
years ago.
right, yeah. And I liked it back then, but I have thought about it a lot in the years that have passed and how much I want to revisit it. And I revisited it and I was like, this is kind of the greatest movie anybody's ever made. It's really, I kind of want to rewatch it again already, um, but we'll see if I watch it that immediately. But I'm glad I have it like physically now and I could just throw it on whenever. It's very cool. Good movie, The Conformist. I went to see Seven in New York City in IMAX with friends of the pod, George and Alex. And it was really good. I was like kind of, I mean, I've seen Seven like I don't know how many, like 4 or 5 times now, I guess. And previously, well, like prior to us watching the movie, I was talking to them and they both like love it. It's like a 5-star movie for them or whatever. And I was like, yeah, it's like his seventh or eighth best movie. I was like, it's like fine. And then I'm watching the movie and like 5 minutes into it, I'm just like, damn, this shit is so good. And it just kept being good the whole time. I was like, man, he kind of cooked. Like I forgot that like the movie theater could do that to you. And just like seeing it in the theater and like I don't know, there's just a lot of stuff I paid attention to that I feel like every time I had watched it previously, I didn't entirely realize I liked as much as I did. I was like, it was never a movie that made me emotional, but then like the whole like this watching it this time around, like all of the Gwyneth Paltrow stuff, I was like, damn, this shit kind of hurts. Like it's just like it's like way sadder. I don't know. I used to just think of it as like a completely different way, and now I cared way more about the characters. Um, so that was awesome. And then last night I rewatched May December, and also cried at that because it's May December, and I really like that movie. Kind of one of the best movies we've gotten in the past couple years, if you ask me. And that's it, I guess. You want to go, Owen?
Yeah, I didn't watch too much because I was kind of sick for a couple days. So I really started ramping it back up. Um, I guess in the new year. So I watched Phil Solomon's Empire because that's just kind of floating around the internet right now. Because that was one of the films that kind of was just not available for like a while. And now the access to that for whatever reason is just more. So I watched that. Pretty cool. I've seen a good amount of Phil Solomon shorts. He yeah, I saw some stuff of his for a retrospective, kind of a more career retrospective since his passing like a year ago. which was really cool to see some of that stuff in theaters. It's always cool to like see experimental short stuff on a bigger screen because a lot of us are so used to watching this kind of stuff on our laptops. So watching it, whether it's like actual prints or even just like these, because his video game stuff, the digital stuff, projected is really cool. But so yeah, I saw his short film Empire, which is obviously his kind of version of Andy Warhol's Empire, but it's a much shorter film, and it's in Grand Theft Auto, so it's different. But I like the. It's interesting because I mean Andy Warhol's Empire is this like really long, 1 day kind of, it's 8 hours, but it's kind of the shifting of the time, and you're seeing this time go slowly. But in video games, time happens so much faster, so
Yeah.
it makes so much sense that it is longer, but it or shorter, but it is interesting to watch it play out and kind of observe and it's funny because it's like GTA, so like it's not the colors that you're getting are really not natural, and the kind of changes are like it goes from like all these different like it's green and then it's like yellow and then I don't know. It's interesting. I recommend checking out if you can get your hands on it. And then I watched a Shachel Ackerman film that I hadn't seen. I you he she is the English translation for this one. It's she's like she's it's really it's a young she's like 20 something 24 in this. Um, I like this one a lot. It's more I mean, it's a younger film by her, but it's more like kind of amateurish in like the design, I guess, of the film. But it still has that like kind of style that you kind of see later in something like John Dielman, but just more kind of condensed in like a way that like I mean she's literally acting in it, and there's just like less going on. And but uh yeah, I know. I mean, you can see uh, the inspiration and kind of a lot of like I guess where other people have kind of pulled from this. But yeah, I really like that one as well. That was one that I just meaning to check off for a while. There's a couple other like the meanings of Anna I really want to see, and then there's a few other ones that I just kind of have to see from her. Really great. And then I one of the filmmakers that I really want to get into this year is Hong Sang Soo. So I started doing that 2 days ago, and I watched Traveler's Needs, and then yesterday I watched By the Stream, which were his two 2024 releases, and I wanted to do that before we did this episode, but that also gave me kind of a reason to just dive into his work. So I watched his films from this year, and then I have the In Water Blu-ray, and then I'm just gonna just dive into all of his stuff this year.
You're gonna dive
Um, yeah,
in
and dive
water.
in water.
Dive in
yeah,
water.
yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I yeah, no, really, really liked the two films I saw from him. I know like this. I'm not like just really getting into it, so I'm not too understanding all of that world. But my understanding is these later films are even more kind of minimalist in this low budget kind of style than maybe his earlier or like a different period. But I really do like this kind of period and this style so far, and I am really excited about just seeing all of those because that is definitely something that I'm kind of noticing and of just like modern filmmaking, like American filmmaking that is not giving me a lot of like formal interest and like there's just it's like a missing kind of thing where it's like I definitely find myself like when we do kind of the weekly episodes of just like whenever the popular movie is. Those are the movies that I'm watching that are new, and then I'm watching older movies, and and I want to kind of broaden my reach on modern movies that maybe aren't kind of these more popular things. And I I'll watch something here and there, but I think there's definitely a formal. something formal that I'm missing that I'm that is still a thing that exists in modern cinema, just something that I haven't
Yeah.
really seen yet. So he's
It's
a
like
filmmaker
a
that
it's a good point because it's kind of unfortunate that like most of those movies are just ones that are hard to plan a podcast
yeah,
episode
that's the
around because
problem.
they don't really get released for the listeners,
Yeah,
or there's just not a wide enough number of listeners who
but
would care about it. And
I think the big
uh,
issue is for me, I guess I'm not really I find myself not watching new movies unless they're playing in theaters.
yeah,
And or so it's like the new Hong Sang-soo movie's not playing at my AMC, right? So
yeah,
it's like it's annoying and because it's like I wish if if they played all these different movies at every theater, you get people more interested or be like, oh, maybe I'll check out that thing or whatever, So
yeah.
it is kind of shitty about the way that things
Yeah,
play because
it's just
it's like
hard to, like, even like, prepare for that because even with, like, this year and this episode, it's like,
yeah,
I watched over 100 movies this year. I have a list that I made of still, like, 50
You
plus
watched some
movies.
real slop this year.
No, I well, sure. Well, most of it is for the podcast. I didn't, like, go out of my way really to watch
yeah, yeah,
that much slop, but the point is,
yeah.
I watched over 100 movies this year, and then, like, the 50 plus movies I have on my list of movies that I wanna catch up on, that is impossible to allocate enough time to for this episode.
Yeah.
Like, half of the movies on there could be making their way onto the lists for this podcast
Mhm.
if I got a chance to see them, but I'm
Yeah.
not even, like, I can't even do that till the end of the year when they're available to
Mhm.
me, so that's
Yeah.
just, like, the
No,
frustrating
I think it just sucks because you look at like the theaters and it'll be like 50 fucking spots allocated for like Mufasa and Sonic 3 and then
Yeah,
but I mean the power of the internet and the access we have now, it is we
yeah,
are able to check out all of these great films. It's just kind of you have to kind of do it yourself a little more. You
right.
kind of have to be curious about
Resourceful.
things because there's not being shown like that. So yeah, he's definitely one of the filmmakers I want to check out, and I just in general I want to check out just more contemporary filmmakers from other parts of the world that because I find that definitely in this Hollywood system, they're just not formally as interesting as some other films, and that's why I'm normally watching older stuff because older stuff can be more formally interesting, even if it is maybe not a Hollywood film, but an American film or whatever. Uh, but I tend to find I tend to watch more films from other places when they're older, just because it's like I'm watching older films, just because that's what I normally I'm watching at home. But I do need to, or I want to, spend more time with just more contemporary cinema. And then in between the two Hong Sang-soo films, I did watch Brigadoon, which is a Minnelli musical from the '50s because I watched Meet Me in St. Louis a week or two ago and we talked about
Yeah,
that,
Christmas.
and yeah, and I wanted and my mom liked that, and I wanted to I put on some, like a list of like some kind of Minnelli and like Judy Garland musicals of that time period and stuff like that. Just like these are ones I'd be interested in. And I remember I think someone I don't know who posted some like images of this film on Twitter or something a while ago. So I kept that in mind, and then my mom wanted to watch a movie, so we put this on, and it's a Gene Kelly Minnelli musical, and it's an adaptation of a play, I believe, and I really like the movie, but I'm really interested in this like the kind of plot and the narrative of the film, and I'd be interested in like a modern look at it. It's a basically the film stars Gene Kelly and another guy, and they're in Scotland. It starts Gene Kelly and Van Johnson, and they're in Scotland. They're New York guys, and they're in their suits and they're hunting, and they get lost, and they find this like Smurf village basically, and and they're like, oh, this is really weird. There's just like this village. It's not on the map, and the whole like kind of they figure out that there's like this weird like magic shit going on, and they made this deal or whatever, this town made this deal where they can stay here like protected from like witches and shit. And but what happens is every day they spend in the town on like the real world, like the outside world, like 100 years passes. So, but they also can't leave the town but then if some so but like every 100 years, like it opens up. So they were there for like 2 days, but 200 years have passed. So they like Gene Kelly like walks in and it's like the 1700s basically, and and then he like falls in love with a girl, but they like he like it's like a weird so like he has to like make the
Spoil
decision
the
of
whole
like
thing,
no
damn.
no no,
What are we doing?
he has to make the decision of like whether he like stays in like the 1700s or like he goes back to New York. And
Oh.
it's like a musical. But
Wait,
I'd
but is
like
it
I
not
don't know.
too late to go back to the New York? Because I thought you just said 200 years passed.
No. So the 200 years no.
Oh,
So
they're
200
the 200
they're from the
years are
1700s, right? And
oh, and then
and
okay,
it's only been 2 days. So 200 years has passed like outside. But he's
right,
only there like he's only there for like a day. But like it doesn't
right.
time doesn't it's weird. It's like there's like really weird like rules, but it's like I think it's interesting and like but I think there's like I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to like kind of like chop up the text and like really like kind of investigate it
Chop it
Okay,
because
up.
just chop it
well it's
up.
kind
Chop it
of
up.
like there's kind of like weird um conservative like tones to like this
Okay, now you got
uh,
Doug's attention.
no no but like well it's like this kind of idea of like they didn't want like
Just
they
like
were
your
like
face like lit up when he
they were
said.
worried about like witches and like evil shit going on so they were like oh we're just gonna like keep ourselves in this like little like town forever and like the 1700s and it's like you have the option to like go back in time and like live in this like you know kind of regressive society or
Right.
like you could like stay and like I don't know but I don't know it's I think it's interesting but it's also like at the same time they're like singing because it's a musical so it's like but it's like there's a but it's like has this kind of like fantasy quality to it where it's like they only exist in this little town and it like it's like Smurf Village but it's also just like 1700 Scotland so they're just like not they're like normal people I guess I don't know it's bizarre but I'm interested really in the kind of narrative elements to it going on there. But yeah, that's my kind of week.
Nice.
What
Doug.
was that, Kevin?
Well, I'm just
Whose
blowing this
birthday is it?
straw.
Oh. Oh, I thought it was like a Happy New
Oh, not
Year.
the Starbucks straw.
No, it's not a
Um,
Starbucks straw.
Happy
I don't know where it's from actually. It's just been sitting on my desk. Okay, Doug, what did you watch?
I've been a little busy, but I did watch Hodgepodge this
Yeah,
year.
okay.
There you
Is
Which is a
Hodgepodge your
very
first and only watch of the year?
yes,
Oh
yep.
wow,
go.
5 days
Um,
deep.
well, okay, it's just
Wait,
now
what?
five. Like the day,
Yeah,
like the
wait.
fifth day has just
Yeah, okay,
started.
I guess you're
Like
right. I guess you're right. Yeah,
Yes, there's still
yeah, four
time.
days deep. Yeah, you can watch a lot
there's
more
still
Hodgepodge.
like the ending of what's that movie called?
I saw the TV glow.
Yes, I saw the TV glow.
Yeah,
There's still
that
time.
movie might get mentioned today. We'll see.
Probably not a
It'll
lot.
get mentioned, but
Probably not.
we
To
said
be
not a
honest,
lot.
it actually might not get mentioned at all.
It just got
Okay,
mentioned.
I'm going to be honest with you. It will get mentioned. It
I
will
guess it
come
just
up.
did, right? I guess so.
Yeah.
It's like so
So anything's
um.
possible.
anything's
Yeah.
possible.
No, I guess you're right. Okay, if that's all you watched, we
There's gonna be
can.
some crazy movies that people have forgotten that are gonna get mentioned. I'm gonna say that right now.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's fair. Okay, so we've got. I'm not gonna read off all the categories. We're just gonna go one at a time. But we've got about 17 of them, I think, to go through.
really?
Some might take
I
a
don't
little
think
bit
you sent
longer
me
than
that many.
others. Um,
I guess.
no, I surely did. I don't know if you guys left out answers to some of them,
17?
but
17 is
we've got our own little Oscars going on here. And I think what we're going to get started with is
Isn't that just the Tonys?
the Tonys.
Yeah, our own little Oscar.
Because
See, I don't know, Little Tony. I don't know.
all right, no, yeah, sure.
What is that? The music one?
yeah,
Or
it's
no?
for like the Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't act like you don't know what a Tony is.
No, well, I knew it was somebody's award,
Okay.
not mine.
We're gonna start with our biggest surprises of the year. Our biggest surprise of the year. Owen, you wanna
Whoa,
take
whoa,
it away
whoa, whoa, whoa.
with what surprised you the most?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was. There are movies that I like maybe a little more that I was like, I probably would, I wouldn't have predicted that. But I think in terms of like, if we, I don't remember what we did like at the beginning of the year or whatever. But I think even if we had every film we knew we were gonna watch this year, I I really don't think we would have predicted that The First Omen would have ended up so high. I mean, it's an obvious
Consensus
one.
pick.
It's
Yeah.
an obvious one, but it's
Yes.
like there's no way. Like maybe we're like, oh, maybe this is good, right? But I don't think
Right.
we were ever gonna like be like, oh, this is gonna be one of the best movies
No,
of the
yeah.
year.
No,
Or
of
like,
course.
or
I'm
like,
assuming
or,
all three of us put the first
yeah,
one.
Yeah,
it's like
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
kind of like the
I
like,
had
of
backup
course.
picks prepared because I knew this is probably
yeah,
like the biggest lock out of all the categories is that we
Well,
would
also
all
considering that
agree on this.
it's a debut. It's a franchise film
Yeah.
and it's a
yeah.
debut.
Franchise film,
It's
it's a debut.
It'll
It
get
stars an
brought up
actress who none of us had watched
or
before
yeah.
or
yeah,
even
No,
really
so
heard
this
of.
shit
Like,
came out of nowhere for me.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
yeah.
No, I mean it's the obvious choice. I kind of had like backup picks in case one of you went with The First Omen, which I assumed you would because duh.
Yeah.
Um, Doug, do you want to go first? You have a backup pick, or are you just going with The First Omen?
So the only other I didn't really put honorable mentions for any of my picks, but
Yeah,
the only other one that I even considered for this was the film Happy End, but it's not
right.
even on the same level. But that's just because it
Yeah.
wasn't on my I wasn't
Well,
it
yeah,
wasn't thinking
that's
Just
the
about
on
thing.
your
Is like
that.
radar.
I
Yeah,
like
which counts.
Happy
Yeah,
End more, but it's like
Yeah.
I could have assumed I could have expected like
you
a
went
best.
into Happy End wanting to like
Yeah,
expecting to like
well,
it
I was like,
even.
well, that was one of those films where I was like, I bought that ticket because I was like, oh, some of my friends are gonna go. Like, I'm gonna just go
Yeah,
see it with them, right? And it was like, oh, I like this a lot. But with The First Omen, it's like it's so like out of left field that I think it kind of just ultimately just like deserves the spot.
yeah,
Yeah, well, the first element was like, oh, this is a fake movie, and then it turned out to be a real movie. It's
Well,
totally
it's a
180.
prequel to like
Yeah,
it's like The Omen is
it's a
fine.
legacy
The
sequel
Omen is
horror
like
movie.
okay,
Like,
right?
yeah,
But it's like it's so like The First Omen is such like this like crazy like good movie that's like I don't know, it's bizarre.
yeah. I mean, I had The First Omen too. I guess my backup would be not like anywhere near the same level,
Yeah.
but just like squeezing it in at the end of the year. Obviously,
squeezing.
Doug wanted me to watch Twilight of the Warriors, and I
Mhm.
kind of didn't. I don't want to say I didn't expect it to be good. I knew I'd probably like it, but it was more just like I wanted to like knock a couple movies out before the end of the
You know
year,
what?
and it like seemed like a good choice. And I was like, sure, I'll put it on. And then I was
I,
like, oh, this is like the most fun
I'll throw
ever.
another movie in
So in
there
that sense, it's like a little
just
bit
on the
surprising, I
fact
think.
because when you were talking about that, it made me think of like a movie that like it's it kind of is lower on my year list than some of these other movies we're bringing up. But shout out Robert Zemeckis for here
Here,
because
yeah,
I don't know if it's I don't think I'm gonna bring it up at the end at all for really the run of
right.
the rest of the episode. But just a movie that I think maybe in the previous years we're talking about Zemeckis as like kind of a filmmaker that really has fallen off, and it really it comes from a place of just kind of like talking about it, but out of like not really having
Yeah,
engaged with his more modern films not really recently, and then the with here, it was something I was like, oh, this is interesting. I'm interested in this, but definitely a film that I think I don't know deserve. It was surprising in a way. I was like, oh, this is like really solid. I like this.
yeah.
I don't know. That just kind of came to my head, and I thought I'd shout it out.
Um,
So the first Omen, Happy End, Twilight of the Warriors, Walden, and Here are the
Yeah,
four movies we've mentioned.
yeah.
Biggest surprise.
let's
Um,
go.
for biggest disappointment, which is our next category, I have
Oh
kind of
yeah.
a number of picks. I don't know if I have to pick one. I guess I would pick Steve McQueen's Blitz, which was like when we were much earlier in the year. I was anticipating as like one of my favorite movies of the year, as somebody who has
Interesting.
enjoyed Steve McQueen quite a bit,
That
uh,
movie's good.
all the time. Yeah, well, you didn't say that when we did a podcast on it.
No, I said it was okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
sure. And I'm not like it's not the biggest disappointment in the sense that it's like anywhere near the worst movie of the
yeah, it's
year.
not one of the worst movies of the year.
I just thought it would be one of the best movies of the year. And so that's
Right.
the disappointing side of it, I guess. I mean, I have other picks that I don't think you guys will mention, like I was somewhat excited for Ava DuVernay's Origin, which is one of the worst movies of the year. And We Live in Time, which I got myself excited for no reason. I don't know what got me. People were talking about it and they were like, I'm crying so much. And I was like, this is very much the kind of thing that I have fun with. And then it was really boring. So that was a kind of big disappointment.
I have a friend who is really into the origin score.
Okay. I don't even
Yeah,
remember it. So
yeah, no.
What
Well, I
the
haven't seen the
fuck?
movie, but she showed me
Like
her
playing in
like
the
top
car.
tracks of like the year on Spotify, and like one of the songs from the origin score was like her fifth most played song of the year.
That's awesome.
I literally
Yeah.
don't remember the score. I'm going to be honest. But I
Yeah,
remember
I don't know.
not
I thought
liking
that was
that
just
movie.
a silly, yeah.
No, that is silly. Okay, Owen, what's your big disappointment of the year?
So that I threw in two, and one is just like a little more obvious, but I wanted to bring up Kinds of Kindness because I don't think I don't think we really talked about it that much this year. But I mean, coming off of Poor Things, Yorgos kind of felt at like an all time high in terms of like pop opinion and kind of like pop visibility, and then the follow up kind of like no one fucking talks about it because it's not
Yeah.
that good. Um, and Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, Hunter Schafer, Willem Dafoe's in it. Really good cast. It's an anthology film that they like kind of reuse the same actors, and I kind of like
Right.
the it's an interesting premise, and yeah, I just didn't really care for the movie at all. So
Yeah.
I put that in, and I mean, I think just Alien Romulus on the kind of
Right.
basis of like
Sure.
it's a new Alien movie, with some decent young actors. I think the performances aren't bad or anything like that, but definitely, uh, I think it was a movie that we were like, oh, this is probably just gonna be like solid, right? Or it's gonna be decent. It's gonna be it's an Alien movie. It's gonna be fun. And then it was just like, oh, this is like one of the worst movies of the year, really. So
Right.
yeah, those are mine too.
Yeah, my biggest disappointment of the year is Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
Just because like it's a movie that should be good on paper, and that's
Right.
why I was
Yeah.
kind of excited for it. And then it did just turn out to be one of the worst movies of the
Yeah.
year. And it's like,
I
oh, okay.
also, yeah, I guess that could have been on my list as well. Man, every time that
Yeah.
trailer played, I was so excited to watch that
No,
movie.
yeah, that's
And
what I mean. Yeah. And in the movie
it was
theater,
just
I was
upsetting.
like, I remember feeling like,
I
oh my
literally
God.
like, yeah, like every time I was at
Like,
the theater
oh my
every week, it would
God.
play and I would get so excited. And I was like, we're getting a fucking banger. And
No, the trailer was like, it was electric. And then the
yeah,
Yeah.
movie was like doo doo from a
Mhm.
yeah,
butt.
that's tough.
People are gonna
Um,
people disagree with that take so hard. People love
I
this
know
movie.
people really
It
liked it.
sucks
I
though.
know. Can I
Alien
ask,
Romulus
not to
sucks.
go completely back, but on the Kinds of Kindness front, can I ask on
Yeah.
a like 1 to 10 scale how excited you are for Yorgos's movie this year after
Oh.
like post Kinds of you know what I mean? Because it's like if you asked after Poor Things, you would have been like super high, and I wonder if you're
I'm
less
really
high now.
interested.
Well, this is the
Uh,
Alien one, right?
yeah, well, it's story
Yes.
time. I'm really interested on this movie, just on this weird fact that like they what's it called? So they use they're like they do the casting agency for like Euphoria. That are involved in this film, and I think it's just I forget the whatever studio that they're working for. The whatever studio that Yorgos has been working for with the past couple movies. And I think what's the guy who dated Rachel Sennett?
Stavros.
Stavros,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's in this movie, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
And
that
like
rocks.
I don't know exactly if it's that role, which I think is really silly, but I don't know, a year or two ago that casting agency they wanted me to just send in like a tape for that movie or just like just send it like a little thing. And so they have me in like the database for that movie, and that is that movie. And I'm like, I just want to see the movie because I don't know. I just think it would be weird. It's just like I was like, oh, that's
Right.
interesting. So I'm interested in that movie on that level because uh that they like contacted me for that. But also, I mean, I like Poor Things enough. Like I like Poor Things enough
Yeah.
to where it's
To
like,
trust
yeah, I
it.
mean, I'm
Yeah.
interested. But I think Kinds of Kindness is just it was just kind of a lot, and I think the kind of more like contained like single story uh
Singler.
Singler Kyle
Yeah.
Singler bang Yeah, I think I think
First and last time Kyle Singler will get mentioned on the pod.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited for it, but I think kind of probably like tempered my expectations, but at the same
Sure.
time, like I have like a weird connection to that project that
Yeah.
makes me like I want to see it. I don't know,
Yeah.
but also I really like.
Stavros was in a movie I watched this year, actually.
Yeah,
He
movie.
had a cameo, yeah, in that Sweethearts movie, the rom-com.
Is
So
that
that
the
was
movie
Is that a Netflix movie?
with
it's the
Caleb?
yes, it's the movie, yeah, and it was filmed in my hometown, yeah, the one that I was, like,
Oh,
all excited
yes.
about. Yeah,
Because he's
Stavros has,
really
like, a
funny.
cameo.
That
It's very silly.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll watch that, but I'm excited. He's doing the Wachowski movie.
Caleb is?
Yeah, he's like the
Oh.
lead
Oh, wow.
and I don't
He's
know
awesome,
if
I
we
gotta
got
say.
any. I don't know if we
He's
have any like news on that like since we like really heard the announcement, but I'm excited for that because I think he. I mean, I don't like watch this podcast, but like I see his like clips and they're funny. But I saw like his for his press tour for that movie, like the Sweethearts movie was really funny.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, what were we saying about? I don't know where we were. You
We're moving
were.
on to the next category, don't worry.
I don't know where we were there.
Next category
Kyle
is gonna
Singler,
be,
that's for
yeah, most underrated movie of the year. Um, I'm gonna throw a little bit of a
I have so
curveball out
many.
for my answer. I have several. I think there was like, we kind of talked about this. There's two obvious answers here for all three of us that are like so obvious, and I want one of you to be able to say those at least. So I'm gonna throw this out as a curveball and mention a movie we already talked about, which is The First Omen. Can you
Oh.
guess how many horror movies I watched this year that are rated higher on Letterboxd than The First Omen?
Oh, this is gonna hurt my feelings.
Like
Because that is
10, like
I
10.
at
Like
first
20. Like
at first I was like
20?
The First Omen is not like that good of an answer for this. And then when I was looking at the year's horror movies, there are 12 horror movies rated
Yeah.
higher than The First Omen that I saw this year. Um that's like
How many do you
insane.
have rated higher than the first Omen?
None. I mean, except for Red Rooms, I guess. But Red Rooms, I don't think of as much as a horror movie. It just like has a horror category on Letterboxd. But
Yeah.
like actual horror movie,
Well,
it's The
I
First
think it's
Omen. Like that's
interesting you bring it up because I do have that feeling of like a lot of the contemporary horror films that came out this year were like really widely loved, and I think
yeah,
at least we
yeah,
were on the same page about like all of them, but like we didn't really care for them as much as like it was a
yeah.
lot of
yeah.
like this is like not that
There
good and like
were a
it's really
lot
getting like hyped
though.
up and really loved.
No, but there were, I will say, a number of the ones rated higher than The First Omen are still movies
Yeah, they're still
I
yeah,
liked,
just not
but it's just like
yeah.
if we're
But I
talking about how properly it is rated,
yeah,
certainly having 12 movies above The First Omen it makes it a bit underrated, I think.
sure.
They're saying the lead actress in one of these horror movies rated higher than The First Omen's gonna win an Oscar, bro. It's like they're it's kind of crazy stuff's happening out in the streets.
Right.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. Well,
that movie specifically
let's not
has
skip ahead to the
that
overrated category
because
yet, Doug. I know.
I looked at like the like most popular films of the year, and it's like that's like third. And it's like what the fuck? How did this
That's
happen?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
also
like
most popular on
Dune.
Letterboxd, which is a
No,
more
I
Yeah,
know,
it's
but
but like
yeah,
it's like Dune Challengers, and then The Substance. It's like what the
yeah.
fuck? It's like
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Anyway, Doug, you want to go next for this one? Most underrated.
I kind of really want in my bag for this one.
okay.
Uh specifically, so okay, I did ask Kevin, kind of what we meant by underrated, and he did say specifically not underseen. Like
Yeah.
he meant specifically movie that people saw and then like wrote off or said was bad.
Yeah.
And going off of that, and I wanted to also do a little bit of a curveball because again, there's two movies that are it's like
That
obvious
are
that are
so
really
obvious.
obvious.
Yeah. Which way?
Yeah,
I don't know what Owen's answer is
I
yet.
don't know
So
what I was gonna say,
if you
but
don't include those, we can save those after.
Yeah.
But
No. Well, I mean, I can talk about them,
yeah.
But I have selected John Woo's The Killer remake as the most underrated movie from this year because
Right.
that movie is I don't think you have to write it off. I think it is still a new John Woo film, and I
Yeah.
don't think John Woo is washed.
Do you
I
know what
think
the letterbox rating is for that movie?
oh, I think it's a actually let me it's I think that it's in the twos. It is a 2.8.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, people really don't fuck with it.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely worth considering and watching. I think it's really good. I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
movie's really good. Yeah.
It's a really good
So
answer.
John
Yeah.
Woo's the killer.
Owen, you have your answer?
Okay, so obviously there's the two like popular ones, but I did throw in Rebel Moon Part 2, the Scargiver,
Oh,
Zack Snyder
Yeah.
like director's cut. We did
I
like
didn't even
that.
consider the Rebel Moon movies for this year. That's yeah, that's a
Well,
good
the second
point.
one did
Yeah.
come out this year, but
Yeah.
also the director's cut came out. I like the second one, the second part more. But yeah, we did a whole episode on that, and it's kind of like it's tough to do kind of use like the ratings because the director's cut obviously aren't like separate pages. But in terms of like this movie, it has a 1.9 on
I was gonna say
Letterboxd.
1.9, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the
that's
And
lowest rated
you
crazy.
know,
movie of the year, probably.
yeah. So it's like I think that movie deserves a little bit more. But I think I never saw the OG cut of the second part, but I really do enjoy the director's cut of that film. But yeah, obviously Megalopolis and Trap
Yeah. The kind
are
of
gonna
consensus
end up
picks.
high on all of our lists, or just
Right.
all movies that we like and kind of widely seen
Widely
as like
hated. Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
especially I think
Yeah.
uh you see a lot of kind of you see trap discourse every day on online, and
Yeah.
that movie is really I'm really interested in that movie's kind of staying its ability to stay kind of in the culture, because I think has like whether it's kind of been memed or it's kind of consistently talked about, and I think there's something to be said about like a lot of bad movies just kind of are instantly for like no one's talking about Borderlands, right? No one's like
Right.
making
Right.
Borderlands like memes, or like there's no Borderland discourse, right? And I think there's something about uh M Night's ability to get under people's skin with his like decisions that even if people don't like it, he's kind of always a point of conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been noticing kind of conversations about that movie specifically over time, or recently, I guess.
Yeah. I will say
So
another
the
good honorable mention here is Gladiator 2, which only has a 3.3 on Letterbox now. Has dropped
It's
quite a
just
bit, and a
fun.
lot of people don't like that movie a lot, and I think all three of
yeah.
us did quite enjoy that
Or
movie. So,
Horizon Part 1 with
sure,
Kevin
but
Costner
yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Oh,
that's at, but it's too low.
right.
That
Sorry, you were
movie's
gonna say
really
something,
good.
Doug?
Well, I was gonna say, so the three movies that we have selected for most underrated movie of the year were what did you
First
say, Kevin?
Omen.
Yes, First Omen, the Killer, and Rebel Moon Part 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
That's a very fun little group of guys right
Right.
there.
Yeah. Let's see if it's as fun for our next category, the most overrated movie of the year. Doug, you wanna go first for this one?
I didn't. Did you send this category
Yeah,
to us? Because I
yes,
don't have it written
yeah.
down.
Why
I
would it
did
be
for sure.
underrated and not overrated?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
okay,
for
okay.
sure
Most
did.
most overrated
You
movie of the
cannot go
year.
first. I could go first instead.
Yeah,
You
no,
can
Kevin, go
um,
first while he figures
so,
this out.
I think there's a couple answers here, and I think there's one that might be, like, kind of the consensus answer just based on, like, how we talked about it on the podcast and how we just mentioned it as, like, an awards movie,
Oh, yeah.
but there's another awards movie that I think is also pretty viable for this category. So I'm gonna say, overrated is Wicked, which is,
Yeah. No, I
kind of
included that as
a
well.
beloved movie by audiences pretty widely, and now a kind of, front runner
Yeah.
at all of the award shows, might even pick some up tonight at the Golden Globes, and,
Mhm.
it's not great. It's not I don't
Yeah.
think it listen, I don't think Wicked's like the worst movie of the year, and I stand by that. I think it's fun enough. I don't think it is like a totally flawed movie. But if we're just talking about overrated, it's hard to think of a movie that people have overrated more than this one, I think.
Yeah.
Um
I think Wicked's interesting, and I think the recent like boomer appreciation online of Wicked has been interesting. I saw Oliver Stone put out like a list of his like,
yeah.
and he was talking about how much he loved Wicked,
What
and
a
I
weird pick for Oliver Stone.
and I think there's something interesting to be said about these. We see these like 4K restorations of things, and we see some of these older directors talk about modern movies they really like, and there's like it's interesting, like the kind of landscape of contemporary cinema, eh, and I don't know like how I'm trying to think about the correlation of like these older people who have been around for a while and their like standards and what they're appreciating kind of changing and getting like worse, and the kind of effects of that on the movies that are getting made, because you see a lot of these older guys, you would expect them, like you would expect, you hear about Scorsese talking about like how Marvel movies suck or whatever, and you expect them to have like a very hard um set opinion about like the way that movies should be, and or the way they can should be or like can be, but then they usually have like kind of weird wonky taste. But I think that it kind of comes with it just being like an older person. But I think I do. It's just funny to me when someone like that is like, oh yeah, dude, I loved Wicked. Or like
Yeah.
James Cameron was really like, I'm a big Amelia Perez fan. He's and it's like I get it because of Zoe Saldana being a long time working collaborator, but it is funny for James Cameron to be like making these shitty restorations and being like, I love AI and then I love Amelia Perez, and it's like you know at one point you guys are just like old
Yeah.
people. But
Um,
I would say, I agree with Wicked. I put two other films there, but I'll kind of go with what you said with the substance. I mean, it's just kind of like, like I brought up, like it's the third most popular movie on Letterboxd. It's gonna be up for some Oscars, and it's just like kind of a shitty horror movie. Like it's like,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think it deserves to be up that spot.
It's for sure Wicked. After spending a
Yeah.
minute looking, it's for sure Wicked,
After
and I don't
doing
think it's
a tiny
close.
bit of prep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
I put Wicked, I put Substance, then I also put Nosferatu up
Yeah.
there.
Interesting. I don't know if I think Nosferatu. I think I like Nosferatu enough to not group it in with some of these other movies.
I
Um,
agree with Nosferatu, but not even because of like the ratings or anything, but just because the way people are talking about it
Yeah,
a little
sure,
bit.
yeah,
Like,
I get that. But if I did, there's like a lot of movies that I would feel that way about if we were gonna like
sure.
expand it beyond just like
I just
pure
I
rating.
think it's been talked about as like this like really like great like kind of master film return to gothic horror for like the culture, and I think it's just like
Right.
kind of a
it's kind of just
bland.
like a dumb
Yeah,
dude,
it's
Yeah.
like
like dude
I don't know.
bro movie, which is
So
cool. I like
Yeah.
that, but
Um, our next two categories are ones that we could get through pretty quickly. I think pretty just straight to the point answers. Funniest movie of the year. Movie that made you laugh the most. Oh, and you
do
wanna
you
go
have
first?
this category, Doug? Do you
I
know
do.
about this one?
yes, I
Because
have
I
this
I
one.
do. Okay, I'm just making sure
Okay.
Doug's on here.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
sent all of the I sent all of these
So
categories.
like you
I
said
just
17
I
categories
just
and I
double checked. There's
counted.
18 actually that I sent to you guys.
I only
Um,
have 16. So
okay.
okay, well
Well,
I guess we'll see.
You'll find out which ones are missing as
I
we
don't know
go.
how I don't know how I fucked this up. I don't know what happened.
I did check to make sure I sent them. But Owen, do you have a funniest
Can
movie
I
of the
go
year?
third?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. Funniest movie of the year for me is a movie that neither of you have seen. That played
Okay.
at New York Film Festival, Hard Truths, which I do think gets a wide release for people listening sometime really soon, like in January, might be getting a wide release. That movie is hilarious. I laughed through the entire thing. Um, yeah, that's pretty easily the funny. I mean, also even just watching it at the festival, like the crowd was fucking losing their minds. Like everybody
Yeah.
was having the greatest time. So that, yeah, there was nothing like watching that one for me this year. Doug, do you have an answer?
Yeah, my funniest movie of the year is Megalopolis,
Okay.
directed by Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah.
I the giggles in the movie theater were
Yeah.
very frequent, and I think that movie is just very silly and
Yeah.
funny.
That is funny. That's a good pick. Owen, do
Yeah,
you
I
have your
wanted
answer
to go
prepared now?
third because I wasn't sure between Megalopolis and Trap.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know. It's like funniest, whatever. And I wanted to say Trap because that clip I keep talking about on Twitter that I was seeing, the cutaway gag
Oh,
when
with the
it's like,
piano.
yeah, she's like, that shit is so fucking funny.
Yeah, this would have been my answer until I saw Hard Truth, which is just like a
So yeah,
plainly
that'll
funny
be
movie.
my. But
But
it's like, yeah, Megalopolis is really funny. Anora's really funny. There's a lot of really
Oh, and
funny.
yeah,
yeah,
Nora
Nora
is
is
yeah,
really funny.
There's a lot of
I
funny
forgot about
movies this
that.
year, but it's also like I didn't watch like there wasn't like any like straight comedy that like I watched
yeah,
or really loved. So it's like we're just kind of
Megalopolis was
picking.
close.
We're, we're kind of
right.
just picking from like just movies that we think are funny. And I think there's a lot of good. M Night's really funny. So
Yeah,
like
that's kind of
Yeah.
how I landed on Hard Truths, is because like there's not much competition in terms of like actual pure comedies, and then when somebody made one that is like as good as that one, I was like, well, this is just
yeah.
way
Well,
funnier than
I
anything
think
could be
Anora
made.
has like a lot of like it's kind of
Yeah,
has that like
Nora is but it's just like it kind of like
No, I know. I was just
nails
one like
from
that's probably like the most like it felt like just like a kind of comedy
yeah,
movie.
yeah, like a pure comedy. Yeah.
No one said
Um,
Argyle?
It was on my long
Interesting.
list.
it's
Yeah.
on your long list. Okay. Scariest movie of the year. I could go first for this one. I think for me, it's kind of like a tie between Red Rooms for the one scene that is the scariest scene of the year, but then The
Mhm.
First Omen is just like a general scariest movie of the year. So kind of like both of those things. And you have an answer for scariest?
Yeah, it's Oddity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
it's
Oh,
I
I
also put
forgot about
Oddity.
Oddity.
it's
Wow.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oddity.
I guess I
It's
should
for
replace
sure
The First
Oddity.
Omen with Oddity. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean like this
Yeah.
fucking that movie is scary.
Damn,
I don't know.
I completely just like glossed over that. Yeah, no, it's Oddity.
No, yeah, the tension that is built in Oddity and like not knowing what kind of like the direction of where it's going or what's about to happen, but like
Yeah.
feeling a great deal of empathy for like the character in the situation.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
that's a very scary movie.
Yeah. No, good pick. That's your pick as well, Doug?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Damn. No, actually, now that I think about it, I hadn't even really considered this when I was saying it about Red Rooms, but maybe that tent scene in Oddity is actually scarier than the Red Room scene. It's kind of, well, I think maybe it's also like different because I watched Oddity in a theater, so I felt like some degree of comfort, and I watched Red Rooms like in my room alone in the dark, and so that always makes it like a
Mhm.
little bit scarier. I don't
I
know how
watched Oddity in a theater with like no like by myself and I thought a man
yeah,
was going to
that's
come in and kill me
yeah,
in the
that's
middle of the
very
movie.
scary. Yeah, no, if my theater was empty watching Oddity, I would be shitting myself. I mean, I was
Yeah, I
already, and
was
I
like
was
Jesus
surrounded by
Christ.
people actually. Like I was watching it with other people, and I was still shitting myself. So, no, that's a good pick. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the obvious answer. Um, okay, favorite theater experience of the year. Doug, you wanna go first for this one?
Yeah, so like the obvious one was like seeing Megalopolis
Yeah,
with you guys and a couple of our other friends. That was a very surreal kind of full circle moment.
Mhm.
Um
yeah,
and so I guess it has to be that. I do have another like an honorable mention pick for this one though, which is when Owen, Aiden, and I saw Four Nights of a Dreamer in New York, which is an
Yeah.
incredible movie in a smaller theater that was completely sold out. Like every seat was filled,
Mhm.
yeah.
and Aiden fell asleep halfway through the movie and started
Yeah, that was
snoring.
awesome.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
yeah.
That's funny. Owen, do you have a favorite theater
Yeah,
experience?
I'm trying to think of something else because I was like the obvious one is the Megalopolis thing just because that was kind of something we talked about for a while, and just being at the AMC Lincoln Square like at IMAX screen was really cool. But I don't know. I got to see I saw the TV Glow with uh Jane Schoenbrunn was there for a Q&A, which was really cool.
Right.
I think just even a lot of the Q&A stuff at New York Film Festival was really cool. Just having
Yeah.
because we saw the Shrouds and Cronenberg was there afterwards, which was really cool.
We saw The
Um,
Brutalist and everybody was there
yeah, that was
afterwards.
that was that. You know
Yeah,
what? The Brutalist was really cool. The Brutalist
Yeah.
was really cool. We so the I was in like the third row, and
yeah,
Doug was like
Right.
all the way back in like the balcony,
yeah. I was
and
on
Yeah.
the
and
balcony.
the guy next to me, this older guy next to me, he like left at like the opening credits, and so I told Doug to come down, and then we watched the second half together, and then
What if
the
like
Q and
he
A.
just left to go to the bathroom and then Doug like walked down, took his
Well,
seat,
the
and he
first
came
no
back. He
no
came back to his seat and he's like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing
no.
here?"
So
So-
well, so the first like half is like what an hour and a half, 2 hours.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like he left like immediately. I was like, what did he do? He was gone. I don't know what the fuck happened.
I
And then
Yeah,
mean,
no,
I think
diarrhea. I
the
don't like
lady next to me
shit happens.
was there the whole first half, and then she didn't come back for the second half.
Oh damn.
right.
So it did clear up a bit, so Doug was able to kind of slide in there. But yeah,
Yeah.
that I feel like that one. I thought kind of a lot of those New York Film Festival screenings were really fun. I think the EFIS New York Film Festival screening was really great. I like that because I was seeing seeing another film, and it was the Eva's film was sold out, and I wanted to see it. And I was like, Kevin, you gotta see this movie because I'm not gonna be able to see it. I was basically like, Kevin, to see it
Yeah.
next week because I'm not gonna be able to see it. And they like literally put tickets on sale while I was waiting for like my other movie to start, and I bought that tickets for to see Ephus. Finished my uh film I was gonna watch then, and like ran over to see Ephus, and then that was like one of my
Yeah.
favorite movies of the year. And then a really great Q&A with Carson Lund. And I guess one more. I think just the Honora. That was such a fun movie to see in theaters because it was like everyone was kind of like really into it,
Yeah,
and
and
that was
everybody was
just
super excited for it
Yeah, the
yeah.
beforehand, like
There
walking
was like
in.
there was just really high energy for that Honora
Yeah.
screening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got like you guys, I got kind of a number. I mean, I think I would just put generally all of New York Film Festival as like an
Yeah,
honorable mention, just like the whole time we were there. And then kind of like a tie for first would be if I were just gonna pick a normal like theater trip experience would be La Camera, watching that in a theater by myself. And then not normal theater experience, I would say, is going to the Trap premiere in New York, and meeting M Night Shyamalan. I feel like that's a little
yeah.
bit hard to compare to anything
Well,
else.
I was just
So
looking at my like movies I saw this year, and I was like, oh, I saw Trap 3 times in a
yeah,
row.
yeah,
So I'll throw that out there.
Yeah,
yeah,
well, I saw Furiosa 5 times in the same theater in one day.
Yeah.
right.
Um
You did do that. That's I completely forgot that that was this year. Yeah, that's
yeah,
great.
that
Not
I
that I
did
didn't
do that
forget that
this
that
year.
movie was this year, but just that that's a thing that you did this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did do that. That was a
Yeah.
little crazy.
That is no,
Um
I feel like yeah. I mean, we had I would say in general, this is the most. This year is the most I've enjoyed going to the movies all year. I had the coolest number of like experience. You know what I mean though. Like I had the most like cool
I'm gonna
experiences
say
this
what you said
year.
again.
Yeah.
This year was the was the most I've enjoyed going to the movies all year.
Okay, sorry, ever. Sorry, ever.
Yeah.
Like I had the most like cool experiences this year
Mhm.
as opposed to any other one
Yeah, for
previous to
sure.
this.
It's not even close for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw
Um,
even it's not necessarily like my favorite theater experience, but it was like so unique was at New York Film Festival when I went to see the Wong Bing films, the two youth
Oh
films.
yeah.
yeah.
And like one to see like a durational kind of documentary in theaters is very unique. I couldn't do that really in most other cities. But then
Yeah.
Yeah.
also there were so many Chinese people in the audience, and during the Q&A with Wang Bing, all of the questions from the audience were asked in Chinese, and I was like, oh, this is a collection of people that just like would not I would not be in here with these people in Omaha, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
it's very different. um
No, I don't know why I'm laughing.
it's
Uh,
true, I don't know.
No, it is. No, you're right. It's just I don't know the way it's presented. It's just funny to think about because that's just like not something I'm used to as like somebody who you know what I mean? It's like I'm in New Jersey, which is just like so diverse. I would never think like I would never just be like, whoa, there's a lot of Chinese people in this.
No, I mean there were
No,
there
but
were
yeah,
so
no, I
many.
get it. But yeah, that is how Nebraska must be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
um, okay, next category is best debut feature. I think we probably all have the same answer for this one again, similar to a previous category. Unless I'm forgetting something that you guys like even more than I do. But
I think Owen might have a different movie
okay, that's
here.
true. Yeah. I mean,
Where
I'll
the
just go
fuck is
first.
this on bracket?
I'll say The First Omen is the answer for me.
Yeah, I also have The
Um
First Omen
yeah.
as the best debut
Yeah,
feature.
I put 3 films down. The first Omen being the third of them. Uh, I put Ephus down
Right.
because that is like a very clear like debut feature, and I obviously I put Happy End there, but Happy End I
Yeah.
was unsure about because it is like they have like feature length things, but this is their Happy End is their debut narrative feature film.
Yeah, it's their
Yeah.
debut narrative.
So
Well,
like
yeah, because Artashi
I'm
Stevenson
gonna
was a director on a Netflix limited series or whatever.
no, but like he's like done. I don't really. I'm not like really sure about Neosora's like because he has like longer
Well, I
things, but
mean,
I don't really.
last year Neo Sora did the Ryosuke Sakamoto opus that people were
Yeah, so it's
talking
like I don't
about.
know.
But
I'm gonna
like,
just throw it out there. I'm gonna talk about it because I really like that film. But yeah, I put multiple films. I put Happy End and kind of Ephus is like a tie there. Uh,
Right.
but overall, just kind of wanting to recognize just two filmmakers that are kind
Yeah.
of up and coming, and those are kind of their first. I mean, they're both their first narrative films, so I'll
Yeah.
put those there.
I'll go honorable mention for Janet Planet as well, which is like
Mm.
kind of a I don't know if this is like a total advantage, but it's like Annie Baker was already like a Pulitzer Prize winning
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right, but but this is her first time directing a movie, so it's
Hmm.
like, and that is a completely different skill, but it's
Yeah,
like she obviously has like obvious talent in general, so I imagine it's a little bit easier of a transition than the average
yeah,
person's
but I
first
mean, all of
movie.
them
Yeah.
have. It's like
Um,
Well, that's the thing. What
yeah,
was the Arkasha Stevenson, right? It's like she
right,
yeah,
yeah,
directed every episode in an entire season of TV before she
yeah,
did
yeah.
the first
yeah.
film.
Well,
This
I
is
like
true.
there's this line, or not, it's not like it's not a line, but in the It's Impossible to Learn to Plow, like Richard Linklater audio commentary, he always like jokes. But he always like, it's like I just rewatch it. There's this
He
kind of
always
like
does it. Yeah,
He always does this on
he
this one
always
part of the
does
audio
that.
commentary.
No, but there's this thing he says in the audio commentary where he talks about like people seeing him as like an overnight success, and when he makes his like first film, right? And there's
Mm,
this thing where it's like your debut feature is not going to be like the first time you pick up a camera, right? Like there's just so much that goes into you're making these short films or you're doing whatever, and there's so much that goes into being an overnight success, like and whether it's Annie Baker or whether it's someone who is a younger person making their debut feature film. It's not like they just like kind of was they didn't show up that day and were like, oh, let's fucking make a movie. Like there's just so much that goes into it. So I don't know, that just came to my mind as like there's there's years of work that takes to kind of be not a overnight success, or just kind of had that debut feature. So it's everyone's got kind of got a different journey there.
yeah,
But yeah, there's a lot of great debuts, and it's kind of an interesting combination of like, a lot of great. I think there's an interesting youthful kind of energy in the past couple of years of like kind of younger people like in their 30s that are really making some really interesting stuff that has me like excited for the future. But then on the opposite end, you have like these like 80-year-old guys who are like making some sick stuff. So I think it's honestly the middle pack who's really been, I think, lacking, and I think it's interesting to kind of observe that as like the guys in the middle are really maybe letting us down, and then the younger group and the older group are really keeping us afloat. So I'm excited. I think the hope is, I guess, that younger group really steps up, because I think there's a lot of more. There's an interesting, that like kind of millennial filmmaker era kind of starting to become the age where they can really make an impact and kind of be the forefront of the industry. So I'm excited to kind of watch out for that.
yeah. Um, Next category: good cast, bad movie.
Do you have this one day?
Chill out. Yes, I have
um,
this one.
okay, I've got a couple answers for this one. I'll just throw out one for now in case you guys. Actually, I don't know if you guys would say these other two, but I'll just throw out Argyle as an answer. Really bad movie. Many
I
people I
considered
like
that
in
one.
that movie.
The cat, but like the cast from
It's not
top
like
to
the
bottom, like it's
craziest
not even
cast.
that great.
No, but sure, but
Like,
it's just like many people who I like
yeah.
are in it,
No, I love some of the people in Argyle for sure.
and especially in like the smaller supporting roles. Like Samuel L. Jackson, Richard E. Grant are like ninth and 10th build. Like
Yeah.
there's many good people in that movie. I think I have other answers, like I said, but I'll save them until you guys go. Doug, you wanna throw one out?
Yeah, no, I'll say this. Maxine, um,
Right.
directed by Ty West. I think this cast is really, well, if you just look at the cast in a vacuum, I think this cast is kind of like really awesome.
Yeah.
This movie sucks. This movie sucks.
No, yeah, it is. I didn't even consider this one actually, but now that I'm looking at it, you make a good point. There are a lot of people I like here.
I mean, Kevin
Um,
Bacon is like the 10th build guy.
yeah,
Like,
right. Yeah. Damn. That's another stinker. Oh, and you got an answer?
Well, I'm looking at it. I just kind of just put what are they called? Two movies that was like biggest disappointment, and Alien Romulus and Kinds of Kindness. I just kind of threw in there because I think those casts both have a good cast. I kept thinking about it. I was like, oh, should I put this? Should I put this? And like Joker 2, I think is funny because like
Yeah.
it's Joaquin Phoenix led movie with like Brendan Gleeson and Lady Gaga. Like
Yeah.
those
I
are
didn't
like
even wow, that's also a good call. Yeah,
it's
the
like
movie has
that's
so much talent.
so it's like and I almost brought that up as one of the it was a fun theater experience to see that with you, Sophie, and George. But
Yeah.
the movie was just
Well,
such a
fun
stinker that.
theater experience is relative, I guess.
No,
I
that's what
mean,
I'm saying.
fun
It
is
was
a
fun to see it with some friends, but man,
yeah,
that was a
but it was not
stinker.
fun to be watching it.
No, that movie was
That
bad.
movie really sucks.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, some of my other picks, I will say I really like a number of people in The Fall Guy. I know
Yeah,
you guys aren't like super huge on like a number of that, or like as huge on some of them as I am, but like I love like some of the supporting characters. Like Winston Duke, I just think is like the coolest guy.
yeah.
Like
No,
he's awesome.
I
I love
thought of
Hannah
it.
Waddingham and stuff. Like,
I thought
all
from
these
the fact that
people.
it's Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling leading a
Yeah, I love
movie,
Ryan Gosling too.
and it's like it's bad. It's really
Yeah.
bad. I'll tell you.
Yeah. No, there's many people I really like in
It's
that
really
movie. Even people who
awful.
I haven't seen enough
I'm
of, like
excited for next year.
Benicio and
Like, what's
stuff.
the worst gonna be the worst movie of next year? Can't
That's
wait,
maybe
man.
we could talk about that on our
Can't
most
wait.
anticipated
Can't wait to find out
episode.
what's the stinker of
Um,
next year.
yeah. And then I also threw out like in terms of exciting young casts, a movie you guys didn't see, Saturday Night, which is just like kind of stacked with young actors that we
Yeah,
like.
they kind of
And
just
the
like
movie is
threw a board at a
yeah, I
board at
mean
a
they got all
wall,
these
man.
people: Gabriel LaBelle, Rachel
They
Sennett,
threw a board at a dart.
fucking Corey Michael Smith, Cooper Hoffman, all these people that we like, and it's not great.
Yeah,
It's not very good. Although I guess that could go in the overrated category as well because it does have a 3.5 on Letterboxd. People tend to actually kind of like this movie, for whatever reasons. Okay. Then we've got good premise, bad execution. You want to go first for this one?
Yeah, so it's a movie you just mentioned on
Yeah.
mine, because you ran through every bad movie that was popular
I
just now.
said three movies.
what
But
is it?
The Fall Guy,
Sure.
I
Yeah.
think is my good, yeah, what good premise, bad execution. The premise is fun. It's like it's about a stuntman who like it's about a stuntman who has to go save like the star, like the movie
Mhm.
star, but then gets caught up in like a big like espionage scandal.
Yeah,
It's very fun. I think there's a really fun genre movie in there. I don't
Yeah.
think it's not the movie we got though.
now I'm thinking about it. It kind of I think it would the best version of the Fall Guy would be in the hands of that kind of group of Edgar Wright, Tarantino, like those kind of guys who like they're making movies about movies, but it's like it's more like kind of gritty and grungy in a little way. And, it'd be different depending on whether it's like but I'm thinking about like that kind of group of like that that Death Proof kind of like Grindhouse group, but then like a little maybe adjacent with like some Edgar Wright or like Eli Roth or that kind of it varying quality of who would worked with it. But I think I just immediately was like kind of growing to those guys. It's like a
Yeah.
better fit for something like that than like David Leitch.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean,
David Leitch, bro.
I think you can name lots of directors who you think are a better fit for that movie than him.
Oh, what a guy,
Um,
man!
yeah. Yeah. Does he have a movie coming out next year? Because that might answer your question.
Yeah, probably.
I hope not.
um.
I hope
Anyway.
not.
Uh. Oh, and do you have an answer for a good premise, bad
Yeah,
execution?
it's in a violent nature. I mean, we
Right.
talked
That's
about
on my
this,
list
and
as well.
Kevin was like, yeah, I kind of made this uh category for this movie because
Yeah.
this was a movie that I kind of like right before I was kind of hyped. I remember when this movie played at Sundance, front of the pod, Sydney Volpe sent me sent sent me a sent me this video or whatever of the guy. I don't remember that video. It was basically it was like she was telling me about the director talking about Jerry and these Gus Van Sant, um, kind of films that were inspired by it, and I was like, kind of I was like really kind of gravitated towards this idea because it was kind of combining two things that are very my wheelhouse and kind of it was working with a concept that I was very interested in and this kind of slow cinema slasher thing. And those are just two concepts and two ideas that I'm really kind of always in my mind. And then I was kind of just really disappointed with like the execution of the piece. And so that was, it was, I don't know. I really hyped myself up for it. And I was like, the best version of this movie would have like been my favorite movie of the year. And it's like one of my least favorite movies of the year. So
Yeah.
but they're making a sequel.
I mean,
so
they are. Yeah. I mean, I included that one on my list. I mostly was just like, I think most of the answers for this to me are just like kind of like the bad horror movies of the year. In a Violent Nature, The Substance, Heretic, even Night Swim, of course, the worst horror movie of the year. Like all of these things are things that I would on paper maybe have more fun with than I did in execution. Best sequel, franchise film, or existing IP. I think I assume you guys have different ansers for this than me, so I'll go first. Dune Part 2 is my answer
what the
for
fuck?
Oh, what the fuck?
best sequel, franchise
What
film,
the
or existing IP.
Okay.
Big fan of Dune
No,
Part 2 over here.
no, yeah, no, yeah. Just you and you alone as well.
Right. Yeah.
No, Dune. Okay, Dune Part 2 is good. I picked Furiosa
Right.
Shit.
as my best IP.
Oh, do we all have a
film.
different answer for this?
I guess we do.
Well, Owen, what's your answer?
You want to tell us what yours is? So we
Yeah, it's the first Omen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah.
very good. That's. So
I mean,
fun.
those three that we named are the three that I would put the highest for that category. So
Yeah, I guess my second would be Furious, if I really think about it, because it's just
because it's that there's just an obvious kind of
it's
answer.
I guess it would be the first Omen, Furiosa, and then Gladiator 2 for me.
Yeah.
But
Gladiator's
there's
gonna
a little gap in
fourth,
between all those.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't even really know why I included this category. I was just
Yeah,
like, we
don't
should
really
have one
talk about-
category about like popular movies, you know?
Yeah, we don't really talk about a lot of because we don't talk about superhero movies usually, unless
Well,
they're
it
like
was a
we talked
bad
about
year
Madam
for
Web. I
it was a
guess.
bad year
Like,
for
yeah.
superhero movies.
Yeah.
It was.
Which I didn't include. We do have a category coming up about like who won the year. I didn't really have a who lost the year category, but I guess that could be a potential mention there. Anyway, our next category, who won the year? Do you guys have an obvious kind of answer for this one?
Yeah, I would be
Yeah.
shocked if
I
one
think
of
we
you
all
does
have,
not
like,
also. Okay.
have it on
Yeah.
our list. I don't know. You say it, Doug. You say your answer.
I have the cinematographer Sayombu
Oh, sure.
Muktipram.
I guess on my list I made it a little bit more vague, but I said like Luca Guadagnino and like the whole team of those two movies,
Yeah.
like Sayambu and then
Sayambu
Trent Reznor and Atticus
Muktipram.
Ross and everybody. Like, but I guess Sayambu Muktipram is also on his own. Like,
Well, he also
has
did
movies.
Trap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's fair.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'd also throw out my boy Josh O'Connor, who is in both of my two favorite movies of the year. So that's a pretty obvious winner for me. And then I guess that's it. I guess those are the big ones. I don't know. You guys have any runner-ups in that category or
no.
just obvious? Say Amu Mukti Prom. Okay.
Yeah, it's really is like say like he kind of just stands alone a little bit for this. Like I think
Fair.
that he's the one answer for me.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Okay, let's talk about our kind of big ones here. Bottom 5 movies of the year before we get to our top 10.
Oh man.
I can go first. I think for bottom 5 we kind of just do the list. We'll go one at a time for top 10, but bottom 5.
Oh, okay. I thought we were gonna go one at a time.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think,
No, let's
I think
go
we
one at a
kind of
time.
agreed.
Let's do it.
No, for bottom 5.
Come on.
it's not. Okay, fine. All right, my number 5 pick for bottom 5 is Joker Folie à Peu. Doug,
Okay.
your number 5.
I didn't watch that one, but you guys did an episode on it.
Yeah, we did. What's your
My
number 5 pick, Doug?
number 5 bottom movie of the year, the 5th worst movie of the year is
Yeah, that's my number 6. That's my number 6.
Doug List.
Doug could have never expected Doug to put that low after how much he was excited to do a podcast episode on it.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So okay, sorry for somebody having like ideas and wanting to go outside the box a little bit sometimes.
Sure, yeah. No, going outside the box is promoting a Netflix original on our podcast.
We didn't promote it. We said it was bad. We did an episode
I
on it and
know.
we shit on it for an
I
hour.
know. I'm
Hey
kidding. I'm
man,
kidding.
that's
Oh, and what's
promotion.
your number 5 worst
That's
movie of the year?
promotion in some countries. My worst film is the Todd Phillips film, Joker Folia Do.
Nice, we have the same number 5. Okay, my number 4 worst movie of the year. It feels kind of mean to put it here, but I really fucking despise this movie. Is Civil War, the Alex Garland movie. I just really don't. It feels like it's in such bad company when I look at the other movies on the bottom 5. But I really fucking hate this thing. It just pissed me off. So that's my number 4. Doug, what's your 4th worst movie of the year?
My 4th worst movie of the year is Atlas.
What?
The Jennifer Lopez AI
Oh,
sci-fi film.
Wait,
Did
is it
you
about
watch-
AI or did they use AI?
No, it's about AI. It's about
Oh,
AI.
okay.
Watch the Megan Fox movie.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there.
I didn't know if you watched it or not.
I thought,
did
no, of
watch
course
it.
he did, dude. Of course he did.
This is why they comment those things.
Yeah,
No,
this is fine. This is why they
no.
say Doug is.
They say
Owen,
Doug.
what's your number 4, Owen?
It's Juan Carlos Fresnadillo's Damsel.
Oh, okay. I was like, who the fuck are you talking about? I thought you were about a name. Nobody listening to the podcast is gonna know who I'm talking about. Right
What?
now.
Director
I
of
thought you were
28
gonna
Weeks
say-
Later.
I thought you were gonna say Juan Carlos Noel from
No,
you know in
the
2K
fucking-
leagues.
He's like a fake center that would fuck me up.
He's a fake NBA 2K center that
I miss Juan
Owen and
Carlos,
I
man.
hated playing against. Okay, my number 3
He was
worst
shooting
movie.
threes in the 80s.
My number 3 worst movie of the year is Night Swim. Worst horror movie of
Oh,
the
no.
year. Pretty bad one that neither of you watched. Doug, what's your 3rd worst movie of the year?
Deadpool and Wolverine is my
Yeah.
is the 3rd worst movie of the year.
Surprised you could think of 2 worse than that, but I guess one of the ones you hinted at probably meets the criteria. Owen, what's your 3rd worst movie of the year?
So it says Chaos Loves Company. Eli Roth's Borderlands is my
Oh,
3rd
damn.
worst movie of the year.
Damn.
Chaos Loves Company, a ragtag team of misfits.
My second
That movie
worst.
has Kate Blanchett in it.
Yeah, it does. It does, yeah. My second worst movie of the year is Argyle.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say.
My
Doug, your second worst.
second worst movie of the year is Subservience, a movie about
that the Megan
Megan
Fox
Fox.
movie?
It's a movie about
Yeah.
it's so okay. If you haven't heard of this movie,
Just
audience
people gonna get
listeners,
confused with the substance.
No, I saw
Once-
that too.
yeah, no. One of my friends, she said she told one of her family members to watch The Substance, and they watched this movie instead.
Awesome.
No,
kinda the same,
Subservience. So basically, I'm not joking. It's a ripoff of Megan. It's like if they watched Megan, the movie that was written by
They were like, "What if Megan was Megan Fox?"
no,
That's how
literally
they
that's the
pitched it.
pitch. That's literally probably how it was pitched.
That's awesome.
It's like Megan, but it's like
Like she's,
Megan
like,
Fox,
an
and it's
older
fucking
woman.
stupid and terrible.
Yeah, that's tough. Owen, what's your number 2 worst movie of the year?
Ty West Maxine.
Nice. It looked like you were thinking hard for that. Were you flipping between your number 2 and number 1 there?
No.
Oh, you just want to build the excitement. Okay.
It was like there's like
No,
a
Ty West
frog in my,
Maxine,
there's a
that-
frog
that's
in my
like-
throat.
That was on the long list for me.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
like it's not quite in my bottom 5, but it's low.
What's in my bottom?
Sure, yeah. Well, that's why you
Bottom
said it,
2.
and I
Yeah, that's why you
didn't.
said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My worst movie of the year is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah,
I
well,
hate
it
that
probably
movie.
would have been mine, but I didn't see it. so.
Yeah, it's my only half star that I gave out this year.
I think that's totally valid. That movie's not very good.
Brutal movie watching
Brutal,
experience. I think maybe I hate it even more because I watched it on like opening night in a crowd full of people who love Deadpool and Wolverine.
No,
we should've-
yeah,
you know what we should've
I
done? We should have done worst theater experiences.
Yeah, no, I mean that's it. That's the one. Well, other than like the situations where I would like go to the movies and like some
You,
asshole
like-
was like talking or like taking pictures or some shit next to me, but
Yeah, I used to take taking
but
pictures
just in
of
terms
you.
of pure, yeah, right, yeah. Doug, what's your worst movie of the year?
You probably could have guessed, but my worst movie of the year is Argyle.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
part
it's a banger.
I think a reason why this
Yeah.
still leaves such a bad
It
taste in my mouth,
didn't even make my top bottom 10.
even though I do
Your
think
top
that
bottom.
there's things like I understand how somebody could like this movie. I do totally
Yeah,
get it.
it's fun.
But like I um wanted to like it. I went into this movie being like, oh, it's this fucking spy movie and Dua Lipa's gonna be in it and Henry Cavill's in it, and then it was fucking so bad. It was so bad. It's my least favorite movie of the year. It's fucking
Yeah,
stupid.
yeah. No, I no, nothing else to say. Yeah, I agree. Owen,
Yeah,
finish it off for
I
us.
mean, it's the
Worst movie of the
reigning
year.
champ of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah,
David
sure.
Leitch, the Fall Guy,
Yeah,
the fucking stink master himself.
yeah. No, he's good at that. Okay, we're gonna transition now to a way more positive list. Not our last category, but we're gonna do our top 10 movies of the year here. So let's also go one at a time for this one with our top 10 movies of the year. I will get us started once again with my number 10 pick. Clint Eastwood's Juror Number 2 is my number 10 best
Juror.
movie of the year. Douglas, what is your 10th best movie of the year? Also, did you watch Juror Number 2, Doug? I think
It
you said you were gonna
There's
watch
no
it. Did
way.
you?
Because
Okay.
I got busy. I got
he
busy.
did the
Okay,
thing where
no,
he's like,
you're
oh, I'm
right.
gonna watch all these movies to the podcast, and I was like, no, you're not. And he's like, yes, I am. And then he
And then
didn't watch
and then,
them.
like,
Well, no, but then life got in the way, guys. You don't understand.
yeah, no, I know.
Life
Oh,
always
we
seems to
know.
do
We
that.
know
Yeah.
life is getting in the way. Yeah. Doug,
We
what's
know.
your number
I
10?
know life.
The board game, or the cereal.
The
My
cereal.
10th best movie of the year is Trap, directed by M
Wow,
Night
10.
Shyamalan. I know.
Trap.
Yes.
I did not expect that to be that low. Okay. Owen, what's your 10th favorite movie of the year?
By the Stream, the Hong Sang-soo movie. Uh, it, it
Just squeezing in at the last minute.
Yeah, no, I watched it. This is my favorite of the two that of his 2024 releases. So
Yeah.
that is my 10th favorite movie of the year. But I mean,
Nice.
really good. Even my all the top 20. There's a lot of great stuff this year. So
No, lots of good movies that came out this
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
No,
yeah,
I mean, it would be a much longer podcast episode, but if we were doing like a top 20 or top 25, I would still be pretty confident in naming all of those as like favorites of the year. But I think for for our purposes,
yeah.
top 10 is acceptable. My number 9 pick is a movie that I don't believe either of you two have watched yet. Red Rooms is my number 9. I really like that movie. I really like
wanted to
that
watch
movie.
this.
Yeah, no,
Fuck
it's
that.
great. I think you will like it, Doug. I don't know that Owen would like it as much, but I think Doug will like
I
it.
skipped this because when it was coming out and people were talking about it, I was like, oh, this looks lame.
Yeah,
But then it was like, oh, I guess it's not lame. But then it was too late for me to watch it.
yeah. No, I mean, I like this movie quite a bit. Doug, what's your number 9 pick?
My number 9 pick, the ninth best movie of the year for me, is Challengers, directed by Luca Guadagnino.
Nice,
Yeah,
good movie.
the
I'd
movie's
say.
the movie's really good. The movie's really good.
Oh, and what's your number 9?
Sorry, the police are going crazy outside. I don't know what's going on.
No, they're
Yeah,
coming
wow.
for you, dude.
My ninth favorite movie that I saw this year that was a new movie that I saw this year was The Shrouds.
Yeah,
The David Cronenberg
I
movie.
purposely left this movie off the list, but I look forward to
Yeah.
rewatching it when it comes out in theaters. I think I feel like when I rewatch it this year in theaters, it will be getting mentioned quite high on the 2025 list.
Notable that the director of Challengers, Luca Guadagnino, said that The Shrouds was the number 1 movie of the year for
shit.
him, and
Yeah.
and it wasn't close.
Yeah, well, people are gonna see that. A certain group of people are gonna see that and be like, "Damn, I should really watch The Shrouds." And I'm not kidding. I think The Shrouds, when people watch it, might have like a 0.9 on Letterboxd. People are gonna hate that movie.
I'm very excited for it. One of
I
our
fear
best.
what will happen when that movie gets a wide release beyond just a festival release. But that shit rocks. That's a good movie. My number 8 pick, another movie that neither of you saw, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, which I watched at New York Film Festival. I really like this movie quite a bit. I thought, I was like, when I was kind of putting together my lists, I was kind of shifting picks. Like I had like kind of like, you know, because it's hard to weigh movies that I just saw 2 months ago compared to like movies that I watched in like the first half of the year, you know. And then when I gave some thought to it, I was like, I really just like this movie. I really enjoyed this one. So See the Sacred Fig, my number 8.
Yeah, I wanted to watch this at New York Film Festival, but I couldn't because of like the way that
The
my
dates, yeah,
yeah. And then it took forever to come out. It's just like now coming out, I think here.
yeah, no, yeah, I believe so. Um, Good movie though. I'd recommend for people listening. Doug, what's your number 8?
My number 8th best movie of the year, which when this came out, I would not have believed this would have been anywhere outside of my top 5, but there's so many good movies. It is The First Omen,
Wow,
directed
yeah,
by Arkasha Stevenson, is number 8 for me.
yeah. No, I was a little bit shocked as well that I kind of bumped it down my list, but also it's a movie that I haven't had a chance to rewatch, and I wonder if like some of these movies that I got to watch a second or third time, if I did that with The First Omen, if it might not be higher, but that's just the nature of making a list.
Yeah.
Owen, your number 8.
Luca Guadagnino's Challengers.
Let's
Okay.
go.
My
There we
eight.
go.
Another Challengers pick has hit
Yeah.
the top 10. My number 7 is a Luca Guadagnino movie. His other movie that came out this year, Queer, is my number 7 pick. That guy making some good movies lately.
We're gonna be seeing a lot of the same movies, I think, now from
Yeah.
this point
Yeah,
on.
no, I think we're getting into.
Well,
No, I mean, I still have a couple picks that you guys are not going to say, but
I'm a little off the walls here.
no, yeah, I have 3 movies that I think you guys might not mention, or at least 2 that I know you guys won't mention. But Doug, your number 7.
Yeah, my 7th favorite movie of the year is Memoir of a Snail, directed by Adam Elliott.
Yeah, when I was going through and making a video about the Golden Globes yesterday, I was looking at the best animated feature nominees, which will probably be similar to the Oscar ones, and I was like, Memoir of a Snail is the only movie I've seen here. um, and probably after I watch all of them, will still be the one that I want to win, I imagine, but I don't know. Good movie. I like Memoir of a
Great
Snail.
movie. Great movie.
Oh, and your number 7 pick?
Yeah, this is where the First Omen's gonna fall for me at number 7. Really good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, we've
You
talked.
have it higher
I
than
think The
me's
First Omen
crazy.
has been mentioned more than any movie so far. That's like throughout all the categories that we're talking about. I think we've
Yeah,
probably
if you
given that
haven't
movie
if
the
you
most
haven't watched
attention.
The First Omen yet and you're listening to this podcast, it's like this is kind of
Well,
your sign. Your
it's
real
interesting
shit.
because one of the things I didn't even mention it because it was like 3rd or 4th on that list. But when we were talking about who won the year, I was going to mention kind of like just like the original horror movies that were like overperforming. You know, like The Substance and Terrifier 3, I guess now is part of a franchise, but still like making more and more money with each one. Um, and then The First Omen. I don't remember how much The First Omen made, but I mean, people don't talk about that one, and people have talked a lot about these other movies that really succeeded. So, and it's better than all those other ones. So, my number 6 pick is Nickel Boys, which we all saw together on opening night at New York Film Festival, a movie that I have thought about more and more since watching, and it's a shame that it's like not easier for me to just go and rewatch it multiple times.
Yeah.
But the thing is like out of all these movies, at least out of all the movies on this list that I've only gotten a chance to see once, it is the easiest to kind of like remember and think about after I've watched it. Like it just like really has stuck with me, and that's kind of why it's been like a real riser on this list for me. Doug, what's your number 6 pick?
My 6th favorite movie of the year is Twilight of the Warriors Walled In.
Fuck yeah.
Really, 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 really good. Nobody listening to this has seen it.
Well,
All
I
of you
wouldn't
would
say
like
that.
it.
It's kind
No,
of
but
fucked
yeah,
up.
but
It's
you
kind
know.
of.
I mean, people listening to this are both follow me and you who have talked about it on the internet. So I feel like,
Yeah.
in fact,
Yeah.
several people listening to this have probably seen it.
But even if it's not like, you have to like if you want to watch, you have to like buy it. It's not like
sure,
the,
yeah, it's not like the most easily accessible movie, but
yeah.
yeah, I mean, when I talked about it, I was like, this is like the easiest movie in the world to recommend because like who could watch this and not have fun with it? Like it's like yeah, everybody will put this on and be like, oh, that was just a blast.
You have to
Like
be a really boring person to like
yeah,
actively dislike this movie.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. It's like it's easily like the most just like
Yeah, you have
straight
to be a
up
fucking
fun.
loser.
no,
Yeah.
you do.
You're
You have to
like
be
a
No,
kind of a
like
freak.
loser.
kind like honestly, I normally I would not like Doug using such aggressive language, but like he's kind of just right about this
Yeah.
one. Like it's like that just is the case.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
No,
one's
it's
really fun.
very excellent.
Oh, and what's your number 6 pick?
Yeah, it's the new East Wood. The juror number 2
What's
is
up with
my
you kind of like breaking apart these last names today into
what?
going,
Yeah, the
kinda,
new Eastwood, the new one
yeah,
with Nicholas Holt.
Holt.
nice. Yeah. How I was wondering how you were gonna split that one into.
Holt. Holt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Getting into our top fives here. I know Doug said our lists were gonna look the same, but judging by your guys' reaction when I brought up this movie earlier, I don't think it will look the same. My number 5 pick is Dune Part 2.
wah, wah,
Yeah.
wah,
Wah,
wah.
wah. That's the woke mind virus talking right
Oh.
there, brother. That's the
All
woke
right,
mind
all
virus.
right, all right. Dune Part 2, good movie, good movie.
Yeah, I have a better sand desert movie on my list at number
Sure.
5. I have
Oh, it's at number
Furiosa.
5.
Yeah, at number 5.
The movie you saw
Fury.
6 times in one day.
Osa.
A lot of good movies, dude.
It's at number 5.
Yeah.
That's I feel like okay. No, that's fine.
What?
No, I just like
What's
I
up?
feel like I can't like it's like you guys are making fun of me for putting Dune Part 2 at number 5 and Doug watched
I saw
Furiosa
Dune Part 2
12
4
times.
times in theaters.
Yeah. It's not even on your list.
That's what I'm saying. It's not even on my list.
Why'd you watch it 4 times?
Because it's a good movie. It doesn't make the
Alright.
movie better every time you watch it. Like,
Sure.
That is
Owen,
true.
what's your number 5, Owen?
My number 5 is Carson Lund's Ephus.
Good
The
choice.
I need to watch this
Good
one.
choice.
yeah, I'm excited for it. Comes out in March, and we'll do like an episode on it then. I'm excited to kind of because this is gonna be. I hopefully I know with the Christmas Eve at Miller Point, that was with that being out, a lot of people could talk about it. But I think this movie can really resonate with a lot of people, and I'm excited to kind of have a more broad conversation about it online because it's it's only played at like festivals and stuff like that. So
Yeah. No, yeah, I enjoyed that movie quite a bit. My number 4 pick is Evil Does Not Exist. I
Wow.
really like
Wow.
that movie. Kind of a perfect movie. Doug, your number 4 pick?
My number 4 pick is Youth Hard Times, directed by Wong Ming.
yeah.
Did you watch this one 6 times?
No, this is if you don't know, listener, this is the second film. Okay, this is the second film in a trilogy of documentaries in a like a decade-long documentary project about textile sweat factories in mainland China. And this one, Hard Times, is it's a 4.5 hour film following like 3 different sweatshops. It is a fucking monumental, like in terms of like just like size. Like it's like so big, and there's so many really incredible, very human moments captured here that I think it's a very special movie. It is a difficult thing to recommend if you're not a real fucking sicko movie watcher, but it's very good.
Yeah. Owen, your number 4 pick?
Yeah, it's queer. It's Luca Guadagnino's Queer. It's number 4. My favorite of the 2 of his projects, and honestly one of my favorites of his in general. Yeah, I mean, I want to see it again, but yeah, definitely lands its spot at 4. Feel good about that one.
Right. Okay. Into our top 3 now. At number 3, I've got M. Night Shyamalan's Trap. It's my number 3 pick.
Trap.
One of my 3 5-stars this year. Douglas, your number 3?
Yeah, my third favorite movie of the year is Evil Does Not Exist, directed by Ryosuke Hamaguchi.
Wow, I thought this
Um,
was your number two. I'm kind of forgetting what your number two pick is gonna
He
be.
well,
shook shit up. Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
shook it up a little bit.
oh.
This movie could be, I don't know. It's this top three
It's all
really
flexible, yeah.
these are kind of crazy movies. This one is
Right.
especially a very crazy movie that I've been thinking about a lot. Like every day, I've been thinking about this movie. This last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Very excellent. One of my favorite filmmakers, also, just straight
Right,
up.
of course. Yeah. And your number three pick?
Yeah. This movie, I feel like one day it's just gonna like I'm gonna wake up and it's just gonna be online, but like I really like really no idea what the fuck's going on with the distribution on the American side of things. But my third favorite movie of the year is Neosaur's Happy End. I really I deeply love this movie so much, and I'm actually really excited for you to eventually see this, Kevin.
Yeah, I
Because
think I really
I
like
think
it.
you really like it.
I'm
It is so good.
I'm bummed that I didn't see it at the festival specifically because it's so
Well,
impossible
yeah,
to
it's
watch
just like
now.
I know
Yeah.
I think it played
Like,
in
I'm sure it would
Japan.
have
Like I think
been
it like had like a
mentioned
release
for
in
me.
Japan, but I just don't know what's going on with the like the kind of worldwide distribution.
Yeah.
But one day, hopefully, it will be available to be seen. Hopefully sooner than later. But yeah, I really I don't know. I think about this movie a lot. So
Yeah.
that's my favorite.
I think
Great choice.
about it all the time.
My number two pick is one of those Josh O'Connor performances I hinted at before, La Chimera. I also think about this movie a lot. So much that I feel like I talked about this movie a lot until I finally at the very end of the year convinced myself to rewatch it. Um, and man, that meant a lot to me. It's like, I mean, I talked about it as my favorite theater experience of the year. It's like I don't, you know, there's not too many movies that I watch like in a movie theater and I actually like forget that I am alive while I'm watching. Like I was just like in the movie.
Really
You know what I
died.
mean? It's like I'm just like I don't even like exist for 2 hours. Like it's on and I'm just like I'm there. Like I might as well just like be in the movie.
Yeah.
It's so lovely. This movie just means a lot to me. I was kind of like, I mean, it resonated so much the first time I watched it, but now rewatching it, I was just like, this is kind of just like one of the most important movies I've seen in my life because it just like kind of communicates to me in a way that very few movies do. I would recommend La Chimera because I don't know that it's like I think it has a pretty like strong base of supporters that are in like a very tight
Yeah.
knit little circle, and so anybody who's outside of that circle probably is not super familiar, hasn't given this movie a chance, and they definitely should. Um, Doug, your number two pick.
My second favorite movie of the year is Queer, directed by Luca
Right,
Guadagnino.
that's right. I was like, what is your number two? And now I'm like,
Yes.
yeah,
This is very special. Also, one of my favorite theater going experiences too, I think, just because I didn't really know what to expect from this. And then
yeah,
because like I watched one trailer and it really didn't kind of like let you into the mind of this film too much. And I think this is it's kind of a crazy, it really is like a crazy project, when you like take a step back and you look at really what he did. This is a ridiculous film. It's really a ridiculous film.
yeah,
Yeah, I like kind of thinking back on it. It's whatever, but it would really have been cool to have seen this at New York with
yeah,
everybody.
No,
yeah.
Uh,
yeah.
just because now knowing how
I
like
wonder what
much
that
we all
crowd
like,
experience must have been like because it's not like the most like
yeah.
well liked movie. Like it would, I feel like it would have been a little bit more divisive than like when we were
I'm
watching
interested in how many
Anora
people
or
walked
whatever.
out.
Yeah, that's what I
You
mean.
know,
Like it's not like it wouldn't be like the Anora reaction or the Brutalist or whatever. It
yeah,
would be like a little bit more scattered. So I wonder
Yeah,
what those
well, because
conversations would have been like after the movie.
I don't think anybody really expected it to be like that because it's so different from the book, even because
Mhm.
like having read the book now, like there's like a lot of it is like identical or very similar, but
Mhm.
then like the book ends because the book's not finished, and then the movie just keeps going.
Yeah,
It's so interesting. But yeah,
yeah.
queer.
Owen, you're at your number two pick.
Yeah, it's M Night's film Trap.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
makes
I mean, we
sense.
talked about like we talked about it enough. But,
Yeah, no, for sure. My number one pick is certainly a movie I think I've talked about enough. Luca Guadagnino's Challengers, my favorite movie of the year. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like everything I want. It's just like all of the things I enjoy about watching movies in one movie. I just had the time of my life. I love this movie.
How many times have you seen it?
3 or 4. Yeah,
Okay,
I
yeah,
saw. I think it was twice in theaters, and then I've
I've
watched
only
it
seen it
maybe twice at
once, I
home.
think.
Yeah, and you two, I imagine, have the same number one pick. So I don't know if you want. If you want, I could count you guys down, and you could say it at the same time.
No, no, no,
No,
Um,
no,
don't
no.
do that.
Let
what do you
Doug
mean?
talk.
No, well, I don't want one person to do it and then just like not be able to. You could talk about it at the same time. Um. Okay, go ahead. Say what your number one pick is.
Yeah, just like fucking Doug.
No,
Ah!
it's Megalopolis.
Yeah,
It's Francis Ford's Coppola's
Coppola's.
Francis Ford's Coppola's. It's Francis Ford's Coppola.
It's his Coppola.
Yeah.
Not my Coppola's. It's fucking
Yeah,
his.
no, this is a movie. Talk about a movie that at least
Talk about
we
it.
kind
Yeah.
of, I mean, we talked about this movie a lot before we knew anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably
um
the most we've ever. I'm not even probably. It's the most we've ever talked about a movie on the podcast that we have not seen yet.
for
Um,
sure.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, we have never. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, well, there's other
Well, it
movies
was
that
it
we
was such
kind of.
this like kind of enigma thing, kind of like that we were just kind of constantly trying to figure out any little bit of what it was, and then we got
Yeah.
slowly more and more information about it, and it kind of has been that enigma for like decades now. It's
Yeah.
this kind
Yeah.
of long lost passion project of Francis's, and to kind of
Right.
finally see it realized, whether people like it or not, I think it definitely was a focal point of conversation for the year, and it kind of feels like, when we think about this year, it's definitely, you can't really talk about the year without in film without Megalopolis there.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
For sure.
It's kind of the most, it's it's not it's a movie that's kind of, it's crazy that this exists. It's like this big expensive art film with like kind of um like a musical spirit to it, and it's so romantic, and it's about, just a guy. and
God.
it's so
Yeah,
silly, and
yeah,
it's I do think it's an imperfect film, right? But I don't think the art is perfect. And that's
Yeah.
like part of like making art. So I don't think that the criticisms for Megalopolis, even like some really like intelligent kind of like political criticisms of Megalopolis, I don't think really make the movie worse for me as it does just kind of like color it um as a piece about the artist.
yeah.
I think it's really interesting. This movie's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can move on then to a couple other categories we've got before we wrap up. Best looking movie of the year. I wonder what. I wasn't really like confident in making a pick for this one because there's so many contenders, I guess. But I feel like you guys are probably just going. I can feel like I could guess where you guys. Can one of you go first?
It's
Megalopolis.
Megalopolis.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's-
Okay. I mean, it was on my list. I didn't really know like what to pick.
I will like, I really think that it's Megalopolis, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, I don't necessarily think it's close. Especially, so I
Sure.
have the movie
Yeah.
on my computer, and I've done this a couple times where I just like skim through, or just open it up and kind of like start skimming through it and looking for certain scenes, and it's like, man, every fucking, there's just some fucking crazy shots in
yeah.
every single scene.
Yeah.
It's really made by like somebody that knows what the fuck he's doing.
No.
Like,
Yeah. It's certainly. I can't really argue, but I think my pick would probably be my favorite movie of the year, which is Challengers, just because
right.
it's I don't know.
No, that movie looks great.
No, yeah, it does, and I mean it's also just like it matters so much to why
You got
I
the
like it.
4K on here.
It it makes those like the tennis scenes and everything that I like so much about the movie like so exciting. So that would probably be. I mean, I also had Megalopolis, I had Trap, I had Nickel Boys on there as well, and a few La Camera as well. Like I mean, mostly it's just a list of my favorite movies of the year, and I imagine pretty
Yeah,
similar
well,
to
that's the thing with
too.
like a lot of this
Uh,
stuff is like if you like a good portion of it enough for it to be like, unless
yeah,
it's like a really weird, wonky movie where like only one aspect is like really crazy. Most of the time, it's like the good movies are gonna have the good stuff in it, right?
yeah,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Um, then we've got this is like I don't I think this is more of like a I don't know if we make a pick about this one as much as we have like a kind of discussion about it, but it's what movie will be remembered as the movie of this year in the future. Um,
Right.
this is more, you know what I mean? It's not as much like here's my pick as it is like something that we could kind of
Yeah. Well, it's
debate and think
interesting.
about.
There's like different levels to this
It's
one
like
Yeah,
what?
because I'll throw one out first, to be
Okay.
honest.
sure. Yeah, let's get the
'Cause
names out there.
I think that when I say there's different levels to it, like I think that this is the year that Challengers came out in the same way that this is the year that Brat came out. You know what I mean? It's like Brat was not the most popular album this year, like a Taylor
It's
Swift
up
album came
there
out this
though.
Right.
year, but
Yeah.
it's like in terms of like how younger people on the internet responded to it, I think Challengers is kind of like that,
That
where
is
it
a
made
good
Yeah.
such
pick.
big waves for a
That's a
certain
good point.
audience.
Yeah. I didn't even I
Yeah,
mean, I wasn't even really thinking about Challengers, and that's my favorite movie, but that's a good point.
Yeah.
In like that sense, I can see
yeah.
it.
It would be interesting how that film will age, but like kind of also like influence the culture because it is kind of it's a singular kind of feeling movie, and I
Yeah.
mean when things like that come out, I'm interested in like the way that that kind of inspires other pieces, and I think the way it approaches like the kind of sport film is very interesting and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
um yeah, but it's definitely a very big part of the culture, and I think yeah, I kind of the movie I put down was just like, oh, this is like the biggest movie, and I'm like, I think like just like Dune.
Yeah, Dune Part 2.
I'm
Yeah,
just
that's
interested in like
the populist
The
pick.
Dune Part Two of it is interesting, and I think the fact that it is a Part Two makes it interesting because it's like you'll have Dune Messiah, right, or whatever, and you'll have these Dune films, and like I think it almost hurts it that it is like a Part Two, but I'm also like. It's just so big that it's hard to like not put your betting chips on like this being like the fucking movie that people talk about,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I feel like
It's
it's almost
interesting
it's
because of the Dune
too
Messiah, because it's like if Dune Messiah, which I don't think will be the case, but if Dune Messiah is like loved by audiences even more than Dune Part 2, then like do they just go back and not think of this as the Dune Part 2
well, that's
year
what
because
I'm
they're like, "Oh,
saying.
it's
I'm
just
just
the
like
middle movie in this franchise we love," as
it's
opposed to
like
it
weird
being the
because
event that it feels like now.
it's so much more it's more attached to other things, right? Where
Yeah.
it's like it's not like if the most popular movie of the year was this like one-off thing, like it was like The Shining or something, it's like this like
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
just thinking of like a big movie that like is not gonna have like whatever. I guess The Shining has this prequel to it, but
I
I don't
think
think Doctor Sleep ruined fucking The Shining's
yeah.
perception. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just like I think there's something about the kind of sequel nature that makes it weird, but I think it's just such a big like thing where it's like,
Yeah.
but we didn't have a Nolan movie this year, right? So it's like
Yeah.
Right. And I would
I'm trying
throw
to
out
think
yeah,
of
well,
like
because okay, so
I
as a
think Denis is
transition
like a big
there,
enough director where I think that kind of
yeah, yeah, I
yeah.
would throw out on the subject because I think it's interesting that the kind of two like big awards contenders are The Brutalist and Honora
Mhm.
in a year where like people are not as excited about the awards because there aren't as many like popular movies in that you know what I mean? Like it's like Oppenheimer
Yeah.
was a big movie and a big awards contender. The Brutalist and Honora are not huge movies. The huge movies that are awards contenders are Dune Part 2 and Wicked, which probably I mean Wicked might actually win Best Picture, but Dune Part 2 at least will not win Best Picture. And so like if
Yeah.
the with the Brutalist and Honora being front runners, I wonder if this is a year where like the best picture winner is like less remembered as the movie of the year or if it
It
could
depends
still
on what
be
wins.
yeah
I
it
think
could or if it could
Conclave is
still
going to win
be
Best Picture,
If
and that is
sure
why
and
Conclave
I'm.
Conclave yeah and if
if
Conclave were to
Conclave
win
wins, it's not going to be
I
the most
I
remembered
don't
Yeah.
think it
movie.
would be the most remembered movie of
But
the year
I will
no
say if Wicked
but if it
wins,
was
it
the
will
Brutalist
be.
or Honora
I think
it
if
might
Wicked
be
wins, it will be. My issue with Wicked,
oh yeah
the
sure
reason why I'm not saying Wicked is because Part Two comes out next year,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Um,
the thing. That's the thing.
and because if part two was like it was just Wicked the movie and it was just one movie, I would say
Yeah.
Wicked might be the most remembered movie of the year. But
Yeah.
I think maybe you would say that about next year. Like Wicked Part Two is the most
Right.
remembered movie of next year.
Yeah. Because
Um,
Wicked Part 2 next year will make
but
like
but if
$1.5
Wicked
billion.
wins Best Picture somehow, I think it's not even close, right? So I
Yeah.
don't know. It's interesting, but
No,
it's
yeah, it's a tough conversation. I think
there,
those are like the movies worth mentioning though. I mean, I don't know if there's really any other
yeah.
movies we could consider in that way. Those
Yeah,
those are
I
probably the
mean, it's all it's speculative in how things are
Yeah,
made,
no, of
but I
course. I
mean,
mean, we're
these are
just
like the kind of landmark things,
yeah.
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
that like I don't like. I think it's interesting because I think you talked about The Substance being like the third most popular movie on Letterboxd. Like, I don't think that's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna age
Yeah.
well. I don't
Well,
think
okay,
it.
on the subject of The Substance, then I'll ask you guys before we move on. Is there like a movie that is not like anywhere near as popular either in the box office or in awards or whatever, like the big movies of the year that you think will have a kind of like cult following 10, 15, 20 years from now? Is it
Well,
The
I mean, I
Substance or is
talked.
it like
No, I mean, I
something
talked
else?
about it earlier. I think Trap is like kind of really engraved in the culture in kind of like a interesting way. And I think, I mean, if people just don't stop talking about it, I don't see why it's like not. I think it
Yeah.
already is kind of has like a cultness to it.
Yeah.
And it's not an awards film, and it's not really people like it. There's people that are really smart that really like it, and like it's like a divisive thing, and there's a conversation around it. And I think it has also like a really widely known director, and I think even in terms of like people talked about old and whatever, but I think Knock at the Cabin wasn't really discussed as much. It feels like
Well,
a
because
really
Knock at the Cabin wasn't a fun movie,
yeah. I mean,
right?
it was like kind of sadder and like
Yeah.
bleak, but I think there's a level of conversation around Trap that feels uh pretty big. So I would say
Right.
that as like the kind of movie.
I'll
I
say
oh,
something kind of in the same vein as Trap, but I would say Furiosa.
oh, okay.
Because when Furiosa came out, it did kind of get written off, even by like like some kind of our big like cinema like people that like steer the course of culture, right? In,
Yeah.
in conversations, it got written off a little bit as being like, oh, it's like Fury Road but worse,
Hmm.
right? And that's kind of like, and then it got tossed aside when Fury Road almost won Best Picture. But like
Yeah.
this is like Furiosa. I think now it's like as time goes on and we get removed from these conversations about awards and box office and stuff, and the movie just like lives, people are gonna talk about it, and it's gonna be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, Furiosa. That's one of my fucking favorite movies of all time,
Yeah. And
right?
people will also just like revisit it when they revisit Mad Max Fury Road. Like anytime a
Yes.
person watches Fury Road, they'll be like, okay, well now I want to follow this up with Furiosa or the other way, whatever. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like that will happen a lot. I'll throw out a movie that Doug said we weren't going to talk about. I think I saw the TV Glow will have like a huge
No, for
following
sure,
years
for
from
sure.
now. I mean, people,
You could even
people, it
say
was, it
that.
was a fucking, it was like a
Yeah.
sensation this year. Like, it's like, it wasn't a box office sensation, but among like, the circles that we're in and then like film circles on the internet, people went nuts for this movie. So I think
Yeah, I'm
that
also thinking
Yeah.
about
crowd
something
will
like
only
something like
grow.
Nickel Boys as like
Sure.
having like
Yeah.
it's like that's something that's probably gonna be like taught in schools and stuff like that.
Right.
I feel like
Yeah.
or just like I feel like it's gonna be that's kind of feels like
Especially
a
if Ramel
history book.
Ross like continues to
Yeah,
become like
no,
this kind
I
of like
think
one of the big filmmakers,
yeah,
like
it just
I'm
feels like a
surprised
really
people.
something that a
Yeah,
part of like
but same
the
for Jane
culture.
Schoenbrunn in that case, where it's like if Jane
Yeah, no,
Schoenbrunn
it
keeps
just
making amazing movies, then I Saw the TV Globe will definitely be remembered for
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
reason
yeah.
Yeah,
So
because
I
certainly,
it's
think
one
those
of
are
certainly.
the early
two that
ones.
definitely should be brought up.
I don't hate I
Yeah.
Saw the TV Glow.
No, I
I'm
know.
I'm
I
not
was
being
kidding. I was
disrespectful.
kidding. No.
It's like a joke.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm just saying. I think it is one of those movies that people will
Yeah.
talk about years from now for sure. Um. Okay. Let's talk about our 10 favorite performances of the year. I kind of want to save this till towards the end because I think this is a little bit more exciting since this is kind of both a surprise to the three of us what we're going to pick and a surprise to the audience. The audience has heard us talk about our favorite movies of the year over and over and over again, but performances, this is a surprise to everybody. So I guess we'll do a kind of similar 10 to 1 kind of countdown here, right? Um,
Yeah.
you guys want me to go first again? Sure. I'll go first.
Yeah.
I'll go first. I'm a little bit, I'm really struggling to pick between the two performances that I have as options at number 10 because one of them I think is like such a good supporting performance and the other one is a performance by one of my favorite actors. And so I don't know how much that bias plays a factor. But I think I'm just gonna lead in the direction of my favorite actor and say that my number 10 pick is Paul Mescal in Gladiator 2. A
Wow,
performance that
what the fuck?
yeah.
What the fuck?
I
Doug
mean,
was
I
not
love
ready.
him. He's
I
like
was
he's
not
my
ready for
favorite.
that.
He's like one of my two favorite working actors. I think
I
he's
thought you were
so
not going to say that.
charming in the movie. Why did you think I was gonna not have it anywhere near my list, or you thought it was gonna be higher?
No, I didn't think specifically important listener. We Kevin told us to only do one performance per movie. So
Yeah.
I didn't think you were
I
going to
see
do
what
Paul
I
Mescal if
see
you
what
were
you're
going to do.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Oh, you thought I was gonna pick Denzel Washington?
yeah.
No, I mean, Paul's my guy. I get
He's
it.
so
Denzel
he's
is like
riding for the home team.
Denzel is the no, but it's like, but I think Paul Mescal really does just like
No, I like that
no, I
performance
think
a
it's a
lot.
good
bring a
performance.
lot.
I think it's
Yeah,
a really
I
good performance. It is not on my list, but I think it's a really good
I
yeah. I
performance.
mean,
I
and
think
there's
I was
we
thinking
can
about
kind of throw
either of
out
those
honorable
guys,
mentions
but
later, but
yeah, I
um,
ended up putting them in.
I almost replaced him. I almost replaced him with my number 11 pick, who I think will actually get mentioned by maybe Doug. So I'll save
We'll
that
see.
honor.
Who knows?
I'll save that honorable mention for if you say it.
Who
But Doug,
knows?
what's your number 10?
Yeah, my number 10 is I don't know how to say his last name totally, but I think it's
Oh God, here we go. I forgot that this was gonna happen.
is it Ethan Harris? He
Yeah,
plays
I also don't know how to say
Who is
his
that?
name.
but
I
he plays
struggled when I was making
Elwood,
a
the main
video.
character in Nickel
Yes.
Boys.
That's a
Oh,
great pick,
oh,
actually. That's a
Yeah.
great pick. I left him off my top 10, but he is phenomenal in that movie.
No, he is very
I
I
think
think
every
some people
performance
were
in that
saying
movie
that
is awesome.
oh, how do you say the aunt's name? The
Anjanae
actress's?
Ellis Taylor.
Yeah,
oh,
she's people
yeah,
are kind of talking about
I've
her
heard
as the
that a lot.
standout.
Yeah, I've heard about it a lot.
But
She was on. I considered her. I mean, I don't, not to say that he's not great, but like she is just like, as far as supporting performances go this year and like
yeah.
recognition at award shows, it is like unbelievable that she's not getting as much recognition as she should. She just shows
Yeah,
up for
I
like
just
3 scenes and everyone is like
yeah,
so
it's
good.
tough. I
Like it's
think like
so
the
moving.
nature of like the form of the film like hurts it in terms of like award viewing for like performances. I think it's
Right.
just it's a kind of like it's such an out there kind of way to capture these performances that like people are just kind of like it's hard. Maybe it's just more
Yeah.
difficult to like give it
But
to
it's
them.
just like
But
so,
no, I
dude. Like when
know.
you see her face and like the close-ups, it's just like so moving. Like she's so good. I mean, but yeah, Ethan is great as well. Like
That's how I
everybody's yeah.
That's a good.
yeah, he has a yeah.
Oh, that's an
No.
awesome pick. I didn't even yeah. I mean, that's a great choice. Owen, you're number 10.
Yeah, I got Case too. Yeah, Love Lies
Oh
Bleeding.
shit.
Kristen
Oh shit.
Stewart.
She
Yeah.
like barely I literally like removed her name to put in some other people's names.
Yeah,
Like
shout out
Yeah.
Case too.
No.
Yeah, I was just kind of like looking at every movie I saw this year, because I was trying not to like really focus on like the best. I didn't get the movies because there's some good performances in some movies that I liked but weren't on the top. And I remember just when I watched that movie being like, oh, like she's phenomenal. I love her and everything she's in.
Yeah.
And I was happy that like she was in something like solid. Except the since that trailer that keeps playing with that like YouTube movie that she's in that looks like really awful. And there's some movies that I gotta watch at first. I haven't seen that look really good, but yeah, she's
Yeah.
always terrific, even
No, yeah, she's great
no
in
matter what movie
everything.
she's in. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm kind of the more I look at my list, the more I'm just like, there's so many. I mean, there's so many people I wish I could have included in a top 10, and I'm not even like confident in the order or whatever. You know what I mean? I think it's just
yeah,
kind of like I think it was kind. I put together such a long list that when I cut it down to 10, I was like, I don't know if this is actually the list, but especially because we are doing. Yeah, I didn't mention this when I announced the category, but we are doing one per movie,
yeah.
and the lists I think would look a little bit differently if I could include multiple people from the same movie. My number 9 pick is going to be Nell Tiger Free in the First Omen, which I could even be higher technically. I could probably flip her
Nell
with somebody
Tiger
else,
Free.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, she's great in that movie.
no,
I
let
think
that tiger free.
I don't think it'll be the last time she gets brought up. Doug,
Nelly.
what's your number 9 pick?
Um can I have a tie? Can I cheat a little bit and have
Sure.
a
Yeah,
tie?
there's a pick on my list that's kind of cheating. There's a pick on my list that's kind of cheating.
Bro's cheating.
Okay, so at number 9 then I have a tie it's a tie with Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley
In the substance.
from The
Oh, wow.
Substance.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I did not think that was
You said, Kevin, didn't you say we could just pick the movie? So
If
like
you
that,
well,
like,
like the whole
not,
cast?
no, I'm just saying like in that case, it's just like like the substance, really, like the people on the substance,
Yeah,
Yeah, because
sure.
like my
My cheating is a little bit a little bit different, but you guys will. I think you guys could maybe
the reason
anticipate what's coming.
I have, and this is the only thing I do here, like the only kind of cheaty thing I do here. But the reason why I have
The
them
only thing he
tied,
does is watch the subs.
no, 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 no. But the only reason I have them tied at number 9 instead of just picking one of them is because in my head I was like, oh yeah, Demi Moore is gonna win this fucking Oscar. And that's a really great performance. I should put it on. But then I was like, I think Margaret Qualley, I think I might think is more
I also
impressive
don't think
here.
Demi Moore is going to win the Oscar.
Oh,
You keep saying that with so much confidence, as if it's not like an insanely close race between several people.
close races are what create improbable outcomes. But
Sure, but
But then I was like, no, I think that Margaret. And then I was like, I cannot put Margaret Qualley in my list. And then I was like, over Demi Moore. So then
right.
that's why I have it as a tie.
you could,
Um,
you
Well,
could
now
just
you
do it.
just said it, so people are like aware of you having that inclination, and so now
Yeah,
you might as well have just put her on the list alone because now
anyways,
they already
yeah.
know
So
what your
like,
true
so
thoughts about
yeah,
it
it's like,
are.
what is this fucking
Anyway.
participation
Oh, and
trophy?
what's your number 9 pick?
Okay, fuck, I don't really even know who I go here. Um, I'm gonna go Adam Driver and Megalopolis as my
Nice,
number
okay,
9. I
okay.
kind
nice.
of I
Yeah,
have 10 and I like didn't really rank them, so I'm just gonna like pick
you're just kind of
randomly.
ranking them as we
So
go.
don't even like put too much thought into my ranking, but because I like all these are really great. Yeah, I could have put a bunch of people from Megalopolis, but I just felt like Adam Driver, one of our best actors, so I'll go with him.
Yeah. No, that's a good choice. My number 8 pick is Daniel Craig in Queer. Um, I mean, for me, it's very easily the best performance in that movie, but also, yeah, one of the best of the year. I really like everything he's doing
At
nowadays.
number 8,
Yeah, I know
I
that's
like the people
who
I
do you
got
have above
above.
this guy?
that's a little fucking crazy.
At
Damn,
number
chill.
8,
I listen. The list. I told you the list is flexible. I'm not like crazy about the
but
ranking.
you did make the order though.
Well,
So
Hey,
I'm
I
just
had
saying, like,
to. I had to
no,
for
no,
podcast
I'm just
purposes.
saying.
But I'm not. I'm still going to reorder these picks if I end up making like a video about this, or even closer to the Oscars. I'm sure I will kind of have different opinions when I get to put more than the thought I did for the podcast into it. But I like him a lot. I don't think
Yeah,
it's
no,
that.
yeah, yeah.
It's not. He's in the
No,
top
no, it's
10.
okay.
Damn.
I listen. Yeah, I got it.
Um.
It's, but at
All
number
right.
8, you know.
Sure. I know. I mean, what's your number 8, Doug?
Oh, my number 8 is John Voight from Megalopolis.
Okay.
yeah.
You want to see this boner I got?
Yeah, that's good performance. That's a good performance.
What do you
That's
mean? Yeah.
no, like yeah, I guess a good performance. It's like
Uh,
it's great. I think he's really great.
no, I
Can you
agree.
edit that so that there's less of a pause between you saying that and Owen saying yeah?
Oh, the
No,
pause
yeah.
is good.
What's your
Doug
number
always
8?
cuts the damn comedic pauses in the show.
Yeah.
He's always ruining
Yeah.
the beat. He's ruining the beats.
I'm fucking up the rhythm of the show.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Owen, can you tell us your
The
number 8?
fucking rhythm, man.
But yeah,
Uh,
John Voight.
I'm gonna go Nell Tiger free for
Nice.
Showman.
Okay.
Nice.
I'll do that now.
Yeah, you'll get it out of the way. So,
What was that face, Douglas?
Nothing. You guys are putting people so low.
no, I just like listen. The order doesn't. I'm just having fun with it, dude. I'm just having fun. My number 7 pick, the movie you guys haven't watched, and I'm gonna butcher her name, but Juliette Garapi in Red Rooms. The lead actress in Red Rooms. Kind of a crazy final act in that movie that pretty puts that performance pretty high on my list. Doug, your number 7.
Yeah, my number 7 is Louis Koo from Twilight of the Warriors Walled In.
Nice.
Uh,
I
if, so he
I did not have Twilight of the Warriors pick in my top 10, but I was very close to picking not Lewis, but Terrence Lau.
yes,
I
yeah.
just loved him in that. I was like, this guy is so fun. He's
No,
awesome.
really, some really awesome performances in the movie. Also, Sammo Hung, who
Right.
is a very famous
Yeah.
legacy Hong Kong actor is in it, and
I've
he's great
heard
too.
this. Yeah.
But Lewis Cook is kind of like is the standout for me in this one.
Right.
Yeah, is really really awesome. What if you've seen the movie and you don't know any of the actors' names, it's the two gang leaders are Sammo Hung, who's the fat guy, and then Lewis Koo, who's the barber guy with a cigarette.
Yeah. Now that part, once that part happened in the movie, I was like, oh, this is.
Yeah.
Everything after that was just the most fun I've ever had. Oh, and your number 7 pick.
Yeah, my number 7 pick is Yukito Hidaka from Happy End. That's my favorite performance in that film. I think most of the actors, if not all, were like, I don't know if it's street casting or just like first time actors.
I think it was street casting.
Yeah, like I know none of them had like really any kind of, and I actually really liked his performance. I thought he's kind of the standout there for me. So
Yeah,
Nice.
Happy End's a really phenomenal film. I didn't talk about it at all. It's not on any of my lists, but it's really good. It's really good.
yeah.
I didn't see it. So,
Yeah, no.
For my number 6 pick, can I request that you guys take your headphones off for a couple
No.
seconds?
No.
Okay, fuck. Okay.
I can't read your lips, Kevin.
My number 6 pick is Javier Bardem in Dune Part 2.
Okay. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, whatever, dude. I don't know.
What do you want?
All right.
Was it a George tweet? What are we doing?
Yeah, what is
I
this, the
say he's not my
George-
number 1, dude. It's just damn, leave me alone.
Also,
Doug.
Javier. No, I think
I mean,
you
it's
know,
my favorite performance in the movie. I love the movie. I think the movie is only as good as it is because he's in it.
I think that he's probably the best performance in the movie as well. He's really excellent in the movie. He's kind of like you said, he's kind of the beating heart of
Yeah.
the film. So I totally get it. Yeah.
he makes the movie for me.
He's good.
Doug.
He's a good actor. He's been.
He
around.
is. No, great actor. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I think we all agree.
Yeah.
Doug, what's your number 6?
At number 6, I have Josh Hartnett, for his work in Trap.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your number 6?
I'm gonna put Mikey Madison here for Honora. Or
Just
that.
off my top 10.
Yeah, she just missed my list.
I'll just really do that whole cast, honestly.
Yeah. No, that's
No,
a good
I-
point. Yeah, I
Whole
struggled. I
ensemble,
wanted to
right?
include somebody from that cast on my list, but I think it's almost like, you know how the Oscars kind of like when there's like multiple good performances in a category in a movie, they get like split votes or something, or like even with an actress,
Yeah.
for example, was in like 2 great movies, and so she doesn't get nominated at all because the votes get split between the two. That's kind of how I felt with the Honora performances, where like there's like 3 performances that I like so much that I couldn't pick one. So then all 3 of them just ended up off of my top 10 because I couldn't decide. Yeah, that's kind of the situation I got stuck in. My number 5, Doug just mentioned, Josh Hartnett in Trap is my number 5 pick. What a performance, that guy.
Yeah,
a good
no,
one.
it's good. It's good. It's good.
Doug, let's get into your top 5.
Yeah, my number 5 is Hitoshi Omika from Evil Does Not Exist.
Yeah.
He plays the lead. He plays the dad in Evil Does Not Exist.
Yeah, also just off my list.
It's interesting because he's not a professional actor, but he has been in a couple of Raisuke Hamaguchi's films. He's kind of like, because Raisuke Hamaguchi, he doesn't love using professional actors, that's not always the vibe he's going for. But this performance that he kind of get here, it's very, because people always talk about line readings with performances, but a lot of times it's like, it's how your face looks, it's
Yeah.
and
This is the lead in that film, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's the lead.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's a really good
bringing-
performance.
He's bringing incredible energy. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really like that pick. Owen, you're number 5.
But we're gonna go Guy Pearce for the Brutalist, or just like the
Yeah.
Brutalist cast. Incredible all
Yeah.
around there.
Now that it's been mentioned, I will say at my number 10 pick, the 2 that I was struggling between were Paul Mescal and Guy Pearce in The Brutalist.
You're a crazy
that-
person, Kevin. You're a crazy person.
Why is that? Yo, chill. I just, I really like him in that movie. I do.
No, yeah.
He was very close to making my list. My number 4 pick, once again, a movie that Doug said would not get mentioned, Justice Smith, and I Saw the TV Glow is my number 4 pick. I love Justice Smith. he made a fucking banger of a movie, or he was in a banger of a movie this year. Very happy about that. I hope
It's
he
tough.
continues
This
to
last
go
four
in
is
that
tough.
direction. I think he's terrific, and I saw TV Glow.
Mhm.
Doug, what's your number 4?
My number 4 pick is Guy Pearce in The Brutalist.
Nice. Yeah. No, listen, he's
um,
really good. He's really good.
yeah, yeah, he's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting. Do you think? I guess I kind of know your guys' answer, but between him and Adrian Brody, who would you rather see win the Oscar in their respective category?
I think that Guy Pearce should be running away with it.
Yeah,
But he's not.
and you're
So I
not.
would say
Yeah.
Guy Pearce.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Adrian Brody could still win, but Guy Pearce is like he's not even like in the conversation right now.
Right.
I got my chips in other corners, man.
Well, that's true also.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Oh, and what's your number 4?
um, I'm gonna go Nicholas Holt for Juror 2 here. I think I don't know this last four is
Also
really
just off my list.
really
Yeah.
really tough. I think. I mean, these are really like some of the best performances of the year.
Yeah.
Like, I talk about like kind of awesome performances. So
Yeah.
there's like four guys here that I don't know. I gotta put somebody here. So I'm gonna go Nicholas Holt. There's that one scene where he's in the garage
Yeah.
and
You and I kind of talked
his
about
fucking
this. With
his eyes get so
yeah.
blue and he's like I don't know, it's really incredible. I don't know. I didn't know he could do all that. It's
Right.
such a good
Yeah. No.
performance. I don't
No.
know,
Nicholas Holt this year is the definition of the I wasn't familiar with your
yeah, it's
game.
like bro, he was him and Garfield. Like I
Yeah.
don't know.
Right.
I
Okay.
just like I just
Yeah. All
really
right.
really good performance
Okay.
there.
Getting into our top threes at number 3, I've got Angelina Jolie and Maria, a performance I really liked, and on the subject of like when you guys were talking about when Owen was like sitting so close for the brutalist stuff, when I was sitting right up
Yeah.
in one of the front rows for Maria, and when Angelina Jolie came out, I was just like, dude, that's a movie star. Like she's so good in that movie. Yeah, that's my number 3 pick. Doug, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Nell Tiger Free
Right.
in The First Omen.
I wasn't gonna be surprised if this was your number 1, to be
Oh,
honest. I
oh,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's she's doing a lot. One of my favorite performance moments in the whole movie, in the whole year, is kind of towards the end of The First Omen when I guess like can we spoil I guess I probably shouldn't, but it's like
There are
when
words you can use to hint at it without spoiling it.
so it's like when she realizes kind of what the plot of the movie is. Like the
Sure.
character in the movie realizes what the plot of the movie is and how it affects her specifically, and it's like kind of a push in and her whole face fucking sinks.
Yeah.
And then like from then on it's she starts acting fucking crazy.
Yeah.
um that's yeah, I mean that's crazy, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
For sure. Owen, what's your number 3?
we're going Timothy Chalamet and Complete Unknown.
Oh wow. Oh
Number,
wow. Owen
number,
getting very
number,
Oscar pilled.
What the
number
fuck?
three.
Very Oscar filled. I mean, so the top of my list is very Oscar filled as well. I mean, I just mentioned Angelina Jolie, but that makes sense. I mean, you love Timmy.
Yeah, well, I think
It's a great performance.
I think a lot of it has
I
to do
haven't seen
with
the movie, so
it's a performance thing, but it's also there's an added element of the live. He's singing in the movie as well. Like
Yeah.
there's a whole like other,
kind
and
of
that's why
part of
these
my Angelina Jolie thing.
that's
as well.
why these musical biopics don't really do well in the Oscar season, is because you're doing a real person, but you're also and many times you're doing an added like kind of thing. You're singing or something like that. So I'm gonna go with that one there.
Yeah, no, good choice. My number 2 pick is where I kind of did my bit of cheating. I've got Josh O'Connor and both Challengers and La Chimera. That was my cheating. I didn't do 2 performances in one movie. I did one actor in 2 movies.
This
So
guy.
I see.
my number 2 pick is
Okay.
Josh
You're
O'Connor
getting
and both
kicked off the
my 2
podcast.
favorite movies.
Yeah, we're gonna kill you with hammers.
Well, one is like a supporting and one is a lead, and it's like that is both
Yeah,
my
you
kind
gotta
of like
respect the lead, pal.
my favorite supporting and my favorite lead actor performance of the year. So yeah, Josh O'Connor, my number 2 pick. Doug, what's your number 2?
Anya Taylor-Joy in Furiosa.
Furiosa.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
movie star, brother. That's a
Yeah.
movie star right there.
Where would Chris Hemsworth be on the list if you were allowed to do multiple performances in the same movie?
So I was while you guys were playing 2K, I was doing this prep while like I was listening to you guys play 2K, and I put Chris Hemsworth at number 4.
Oh wow.
And then I said, "Wait, you say here that we can only do one movie, like
Yeah.
one performance per movie." And you were like, "Yep." And I was like,
Mm.
"Oh, okay."
Yeah.
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 Damn. Owen, what's your
Josh
number two?
Hartnett for Trap
Fuck
is my
yeah.
number 2 performance of the year.
Nice. Yeah, and now we have all mentioned him in our top 10. Is there any? Who else did we all mention? Well, maybe we should wait till after number one. But
I
uh,
don't think there's. I don't know if there's another one.
Well, we all mentioned No
my
Tiger Free.
yeah, okay, true. Yeah, we did all
Yeah.
mention No Tiger Free. Yeah, good point. My number one pick, movie that you guys haven't seen, but that I was pretty confident in putting at number one when I started putting this list together. Marion Jean Baptiste in Hard Truths. Just
She's
a
great in the
fucking
trailer.
just a fucking knockout, dude. I mean, man, I am like, dude, that character, like the your enjoyment of that movie just completely rests on like how much you could care about this character who is essentially just like it's the performance. Like it's like and not to mention like Mike Lee's kind of like approach is like having the actors kind of like flesh out their own lines and stuff. So like and improvise a lot. So she obviously plays a role in that too. But it's like she is both simultaneously the funniest fucking performance of the year, and also like you feel so bad for her at the same time. And like those two things are almost always happening at the same time. It's just, man, she's so good, and I hate that she might not even get the fucking nomination at the Oscars. Never mind a win. It's just like kind of insane. But yeah, that's my number one pick. Doug, your number one pick. I think I know what it is,
It
considering your
is
reaction earlier.
Daniel Craig
Yeah.
for his work in the film Queer, directed by Luca
Yeah.
Guadagnino.
Is this also your pick, Owen?
Yeah, this is
Okay,
also
so
mine.
that when I said who did we all mention, I was like, oh, maybe I should wait for number one because I
It's
assume
all-
you guys are both
yeah,
gonna
no, Daniel
say
Craig
that. Yeah.
for Queer is my number
Yeah.
one.
So okay, so I guess that answers on the subject of the Adrian Brody question, because if there's somebody you want to see win the Oscar, I assume you guys would prefer Daniel Craig then.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
it's him or Timothy for me for
yeah.
that like award in terms of like who's getting actual push. I think I might, even if I like Daniel Craig's performance more, I kind of want to see Timothy be the youngest
Right, that'd be cool.
recipient of that award. I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be cool for just
There's
kind
a
of him
number
as
of cool stories there, to be
for
fair.
for him as this kind of like we're looking at him as like the movie star of the current moment right now. So I think that would be really cool. But yeah, I think Daniel Craig. I kind of a lot of these performances I could go back and forth on, but that's a good one, man. That's a good performance.
That's a good
No,
one,
yeah,
dude.
I agree.
It's
I
crazy.
definitely agree.
That's crazy.
Okay. Our last category that I kind of saved for the end here because I thought it would just be a fun way to end it is which characters you guys would most like to hang out with, because I thought it would be nice to follow up the performances with just like random characters. And I put together a list of just like
guys.
yeah, I got a lot of guys. I just have like a bunch of mentions that I think would be fun.
Guys.
I'll just read my whole thing
I
because
got one guy.
I don't think you guys are gonna include any of these. I put I put Art the Clown because he really he won me over this year. He won me over this year. I really fucked with his vibe. I just I get it now, and I like him a lot, and I think he'd be a chill hang. I put Patrick Zweig from Challengers. I put Jamie from Trap.
Smells.
Who? Patrick? Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah,
So,
Patrick Zweig. He doesn't.
I know some
he doesn't
people.
shower in that movie, bro.
Yeah, that's fine. I put Jamie from Trap. I kind of cheated a little bit and put all the members of Kneecap, even though it's like they're playing their real life selves. So it's just like, yeah, it's not really a character. It's just them in real life. But I think that'd be fun. I put Cardinal Bellini from Conclave, and then I put Boone, Brandon Pereira's character from Twisters, the one who just yells about the twin tornadoes. Those are my picks. Doug, who would you like to hang out with?
I put Bob Dylan.
Yeah, so you cheated too.
That's not cheating. That's not
No,
cheating.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's like I also did real life people.
Yeah,
I
that's
put
good.
Bob Dylan and I put Count Orlok. Um,
Can you expand on that?
No.
yeah. So
Okay, no,
I
don't.
like how I like no, never mind.
Okay.
I can't even joke. That movie's about rape. You can't
Yeah.
make jokes about that.
Oh, you just
Yeah.
said it now.
Oh, yeah, you kind of.
Owen, who do you want to hang out with?
Oh, I was well, yeah. As long as I don't sign any like deals or anything. I mean, Ovan from Nora, they had a good time for like a little bit. It's like
Yeah,
I just can't get carried away with anything or anything.
yeah.
Well, also I
Are
was
you
thinking
gonna
about
play
like
2K with him
Yeah, no,
instead of
I mean,
me?
he's on the he looked kind of shitty, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'll
I
play
was
with
also
him.
thinking about just Annie from Anora.
Yeah.
Probably be
No,
fun to
I
hang
mean
out with.
they have a good
A
hang.
big personality.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
hanging going on in that film until what's up, Doug? Until you know, mom and dad get called. So
Right.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm
No,
saying.
good point.
Just a
Yeah.
maybe a night or two.
Right.
But that's my
Okay.
it's,
Good choices. Good
that is my
choices.
choice.
Okay, that's all of the categories then. We're not going to talk about news this week because at the time of this recording, it is the day of the Golden Globes. And so I will remind everybody, of course, to like the episode, comment, subscribe, rate it, all of that good stuff. Follow us. And we will be back for a segment after the Golden Globes finish. So we'll see you after the show. Okay, we're back. Post Golden Globes. Owen's not here, of course, just me and Doug. Uh, the Golden Globes literally just ended minutes ago. We're going to talk about all of the movie category winners, but first, I guess, Doug, do you have any immediate Golden Globes reactions in general? Any general comments on how it went?
Um, it went like sim. Amelia Perez. I don't know. It went like mostly how I thought, and then a little bit different. And I was only paying attention to the movie awards, obviously, but
Yes. Yeah, no, I
um,
did take a long bathroom break during some of the TV show. I checked the like list of which awards were being presented, and there was a chunk where like 4 TV awards were going in a row, and I was like, oh, perfect. And I just left for like 15 minutes. Yeah, a lot of surprises actually. We'll go award by award, but I was surprised on more than one occasion, and we're definitely going to talk about how this affects the Oscars, but like this kind of really affects the Oscars. Like there's
oh
some
yeah,
stuff
no, this is
that
not my immediate
happened that is
reaction.
like
Fuck you, dude, you dumbass. Talking down about
okay.
me saying that Demi Moore has like it's seriously winning the Oscar,
No, no, no,
and
no,
you were
no. But
like, no,
okay,
no,
well,
no,
no,
no.
but you didn't say seriously win. You were like, your wording was like, oh, the reason why I disagreed with you is not because you said that she could win. You used language where you were like, oh, she's going to be an Oscar winner. And I'm like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I never acted like she doesn't have a chance. It's the same thing in our private conversations as like, so I think it was Tyler who was saying, about one of the movies, or like after Conclave won Best Screenplay, I was like, oh, Conclave's winning Best Picture, and it's like, let's not, And then by the end of the night, it's like, do you think Conclave's winning Best Picture now? I don't know.
A
You
little
know what
bit.
I
I don't
mean?
know. It's up in the air.
No,
The best picture has
I'm
been up in
saying
the air, but yeah, yeah,
no, yes, but you get my point. Is like I'm never
yeah.
disagreeing with your predictions, but like when you say something is just going to win, it's like we have a long time between now and the Oscars to be saying that something is just going to win outright. But this does shake things up in a number of categories, and in some categories maybe not so much. Let's go through the night in order of the awards presented, starting with Best Supporting Actress, which went to Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez.
Yeah, she's been the front runner this whole award season. She's taken it.
Yeah.
That's cool. I tweeted something out like the second she won, where I was like, all it took for Zoe Saldana to win a major acting award was being in a bad movie and committing egregious category fraud, which is what's
Yeah.
happening. But it's fine. And I don't want to shit on Amelia Perez too much because you could find that fucking anywhere on the internet if you listen to people talk about awards. But it's not a good
Yeah.
movie.
Well, not, I mean, some people, you know, someone out there enjoys this movie.
No, I
Clearly,
listen. I'm
yeah,
good
actually,
friends with
several
people.
people out there enjoy this movie
Yeah, I'm
clearly
good people.
because
I'm
it
good friends
won
with people that
fucking
like
like
it.
4 awards tonight, and
Yeah.
Nora won 0. So that's that. We'll get there, but
Oh, and Nora didn't win anything. That's
no,
true.
yeah. I mean, I guess we could talk about if before we keep going. I guess we could say kind of like obvious winners and losers before going into specific award. Nora is the
Bad
obvious
night
loser.
for
Yeah.
Nora heads and for a complete unknown heads.
Yeah, although A Complete Unknown was certainly not in the same kind
No, that's
of
true. That's true.
group. Like, it's like Anora has been being talked about as the Best Picture frontrunner for what feels like months now, and it won 0 awards tonight. That's, like, crazy. Like, it was I mean, listen, people were talking about The Brutalist and talking about Conclave and whatever, but, like, Anora has had the greatest odds at Best Picture for at least like 3 months now, and it won not a single award tonight.
I guess the big question is how big of an indicator is the Golden Globes because it's so early, you know,
You know,
and it's
it's
like a
not
different body.
it's not the only indicator, but it doesn't mean nothing. I
Yeah.
don't
Okay.
I
Right. It doesn't
don't
mean
like
nothing.
I don't like the idea that Honora won 0 Golden Globes. If it underperformed and Mikey Madison still won like Best Actress, I would be like, okay, it's still got a fine shot. It won nothing. Like not even Mikey Madison. So that's where I'm like, okay, now we have to be a little bit concerned for Honora's chances. And I guess
Right.
I don't know who the big winner of the night is. I guess there's a couple winners. I mean, The
Amelia Perez
Brutalist. Well, yeah,
and the
sure, Amelia
Brutalist. Those are
Perez
the
and The
two big
Brutalist.
the two ones that won the big awards, I guess, because they won a
Right, but I
fucking
mean,
like kind of
I guess I was
sweats.
thinking more like specific I mean, we'll get to this category, but like I think Flow is kind of a big winner because The Wild Robot is the movie that people have been talking about endlessly and it got upset. So that's kind of
Right.
a big win. Nikki Glazer, big winner.
Oh yeah, she's funny.
Huge winner. She was funny the whole time.
So
And
you know what's funny? They
I mean, this
she
is
did
huge for
this
her stock.
early on. She's the host. If you didn't watch the Golden Globe, she hosted.
Yeah.
She's the comedian that hosted the show. Early on, she did a bit where it's like, oh, this is pretty wicked or something. She did like a Conclave and Wicked bit where then she
Yes.
put on a hat and went popular. I want
Yeah.
to be popular. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. And then like she did it
And
for
then she
two
made fun of
seconds
herself.
and then she made fun of it and was like, that sucks, didn't it? That was fucking
Yeah.
dumb. I embarrassed myself in front of Elton John. And I was like, okay, that's good. That's a good
She's
bit.
funny. I mean, listen, I tweeted out that she killed the opening monologue, and there were some people who replied to me and were like, I don't know about that. And I'm like, you guys are just like kind of hard asses. Like, I think some people are just like, you know what I mean? It's like, have you watched an award show before? Like, do you know what we're comparing this to? I mean, I was giggling. I was like, this, like, she's funny. Like, it's like, there's, like, have a laugh, dude. Like, chill a little bit,
Have a laugh.
Like, it's I don't know. It's just like, come on, dude. It's genuinely like entertaining from beginning to end, which like you can never say about almost any award show. Like she kept my attention for 3 hours. So good for her. Anyway, let's keep going through these categories. Best supporting actor in a movie was the next award, which went to Kieran Culkin. Probably the least surprising win of the entire night, if I had to guess. I'm sure you're in agreement.
Yeah, if you had to put money on one major category win for the Oscars right now, it's that one, right? Supporting actor.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
had to put
I mean,
money
well,
on
because everything
on
else,
one,
especially after the Golden Globes, everything else is kind of entirely unpredictable. I mean, I don't
yeah.
really know.
Well, I guess
I don't
Zoe
even.
Saldana's
the
like
thi-
a big leader too, but other,
Sure, yeah, but I guess that's a good call. But what I was going to say is I don't even know who really is even in second. But I guess it would be Zoe Saldana. Um, I don't know.
but yeah,
That's a
no,
good
yeah,
I mean,
totally,
listen.
totally, like, yeah.
I, I've been saying he doesn't deserve it, but I don't dislike him either. So it's like I don't know. It's a
He's a
weird.
likable guy, and the
No,
performance
yeah,
is
it's a
fine.
weird
It's good.
relationship to have with it because. But you know what my other problem is? It's like as much as I like him, I just watched him do the award circuit for a year, the
For
year
Succession,
before this. Yeah, so it's
yeah.
like I don't need to like, you know what I mean? He just swept every single awards body for Succession, and now he sweeps every single movie awards body for this. And it's like it could have been someone else, you know? I'd have been fine with it being someone else. And it's sad because some of the other people nominated are so fun, and we're just never really gonna see them give a speech. Never really gonna see Guy Pearce give a major award speech this year. I mean, Yora Borisov, I would love to see what a Yora Borisov speech looks like at the Oscars. That would be so silly,
Yeah.
but it's just gonna be Karen. So like, and good for him. Like it's fine, yeah. But
You're how do you say you're a Bolisov?
Yora Borisov,
You're a
there's an R.
Borisov?
Yeah.
Amazing bald head tonight.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Really
he looks
showed out.
great.
Like
Well, he showed
polished
it's
head.
funny it's funny because I don't mean to put her on blast on the podcast like this, but I'm watching the red carpet with my girlfriend, and the way they do the red carpet is, like, they show the big, like, interviews, and then in the bottom, like, left corner, they have, like, a little box of people arriving, and he arrives, and he's so small in the box that I couldn't tell it was him at first, and I was like, "Who the fuck is that guy?" And then immediately she's just like, "He is bald as shit," and I was like, "Yo."
It's true. He is so bald. He's like as
He's
bald.
very
There's
bald.
there's not a speck of hair on that head, bro. He's
Yeah.
bald.
Yeah, no, he's very bald. I mean,
He's
great
like the
actor, but yeah.
Squidward. He's like the Squidward polished head bald. You know,
No, yeah, for sure. We don't need to keep going on
Neptune
that.
taking
Okay.
off the
Okay.
crown in the SpongeBob movie. I'm blinded bald.
Yeah. Best screenplay. Actually, this is, I think, super notable. Best screenplay goes to Conclave, and I think what's
Mhm.
worth noting here is that almost always in the Golden Globes side of things, it is an original screenplay because they have a combined screenplay category as opposed to the Oscars who do original and adapted. So more often than not, you expect an original to win at the Globes,
But
but an adapted
Conclave,
wins here.
based off of a
And
book.
so, yes, and so if an adapted won against almost entirely original screenplays, I think it's pretty safe to say, if we were going to talk about Oscars locks like Kieran Culkin, I think it's pretty safe to say Conclave will run away with the best adapted screenplay nomination because it just beat out 4 original screenplays in this category. So that's like it's notable for me because I care about the screenplay awards, but and I guess it's notable for its Oscar like Best Picture chances. I mean, this is the award after this award happened. This is when everybody started talking about Conclave being the potential Best Picture winner, and that was prior to The Brutalist going on to win like 3 or 4 awards. But that that's how it goes. And I think those are maybe the 2 front runners now because it feels
For
like
best
Anora might
picture? For best
yeah, because
picture?
it feels like Anora might not be it anymore. I mean, it's like it might be
Yeah,
Conclave
no,
versus The
I've
Brutalist and with Amelia Perez and Anora in like that kind of fighting for that 3rd spot, but it feels like it
I've
might be between those 2.
I felt like that Conclave was kind of the front runner for a while now, and now I feel like it's hard to deny the Brutalist a little bit just because of it's a big show out here. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
that Conclave still. I think that Conclave winning this award kind of
Yeah, this is an Oscars indicator. Like this
yeah.
award is typically an Oscars indicator. I mean, it means something, but um, yeah, Conclave didn't even like I don't think Conclave won in any other category, but it it's still because of the buzz after it won this category, it feels like everybody is still you know what I mean? It feels like it's still being treated very seriously. Um, the next award is the non-English language category, as it's phrased at the Globes, which went to, unsurprisingly, I guess, Amelia Perez. Um, not the best win in that category.
Well, no, it won over
It won
All I
over All We
Imagine Is.
Imagine Is Light, which you and I
That's
both
so
really like. It won
crazy.
over The
That's
Seed of the
so
Sacred Fig,
crazy.
which earlier in the podcast I named in my top 10 favorite movies of the year.
Yeah.
It won over I'm Still Here, which also has a surprise win in a couple minutes, and also a movie that people have like widely loved.
Mhm.
And then The Girl with the Needle and Vermiglia, which are two movies that look pretty good that I have
I
not
had
watched.
not heard of The Girl
Um,
with the Needle before
Oh,
this.
really? No,
Yeah.
I was well aware of it. Actually, friend of the pod, Sophie, invited me to a screening of it that I wasn't able to attend, and I regret that very much because I have heard really good things about it. And I hear, and maybe this is bad for its awards chances, but I hear it's a very tough watch. Like it's really fucking sad. Um,
I
so
am a terrible cinephile. Fake cinephile.
have
Um,
you heard of Vermiglio?
mhm.
Oh, interesting.
I've seen it on the Letterbox streets.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway,
I don't
Amelia
know what
Perez
it's
beat all
about,
of
but
those movies. So,
yeah. Yeah, no, Amelia Perez.
uh, probably another one of those in that same category with the Culkin and the screenplay win for like probably just going to win the like
No
surely gonna win the
competition. All we
Oscar
imagine is Light's
for
not even going to
international
be
screenplay.
nominated at the Oscars.
Yeah.
No competition at
Um
all.
so that's something. And it's funny now after tonight, I think it could finally like because remember earlier in the year when we were doing like the award stuff, I feel like a lot of people I talked, maybe not so much on the pod, but at least like a lot of conversations were people being like, oh, Emilio Perez definitely like will lose steam, right? Like it's not going to be the Oscar movie that people are saying in it. Like that's just a joke. And then I was like, no, the Oscars are not the internet. Like, remember, I don't know if I said it on the pod or not, but that's what I was saying is like the Oscars are not the internet. Like, this movie is not just gonna like disappear just because a bunch of people on Twitter hate it.
No,
And it
yeah.
fucking hasn't. Like,
It's the
it
woke
won
mind.
4 globes tonight.
It's wokeism. Wokeism's taking
Okay,
over
all right.
Hollywood. No, I do. You know what? I do. Maybe there is room for a serious conversation about this, though.
Yes, I
I
agree.
don't think that we're necessarily the appropriate people to have it, but I do think that this is a little bit of a God, it feels so rude to the cast and crew of the movie a little bit, but it does feel a little
Some of
bit
them
like
deserve it.
this is the opportunity for a movie about transness to win awards right now, you know?
Yeah,
And it's like and I don't know, man. I don't know. It feels but that's how it feels a little bit. And that's when I
yeah.
saw some
I
of
mean,
these speeches I was like, I don't know.
there's no denying the politics of award shows. Like it's a fair conversation to have. It's just yeah, it's just
It's
kind
just
of a
not the right
bummer.
movie.
Yeah, it's just a
Yeah.
bummer that this is the movie. I don't know. What can you
Better this than the Danish Girl.
Sure. Did the Danish Girl win 4 Golden Globes? I don't think so.
I don't know. I wasn't around.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty positive it didn't, but I don't know, maybe.
I'm just saying, like, hypothetically, like, it's
Sure,
better
yeah,
than.
okay. Um, best okay, here's where things get interesting. Best, actress in a comedy or musical, Demi Moore for The Substance.
Did I not call this, Kevin, in the same podcast episode that we are still trapped inside of?
Yeah,
Um,
you did say this. Listen, I never even thought Mikey Madison had a chance to lose this one.
to lose, you didn't think she had a chance to lose? Oh, for the because it's best comedy, right? So Nicole Kidman's not
Yes.
even involved. Yeah, no,
Nicole
yeah,
Kidman's
yeah,
not
yeah.
involved. So the nominees that Demi Moore won over are Amy Adams, Cynthia Erivo, Carla Sofia Gasco, and Mikey Madison and Zendaya. Um, and I just thought I mean, well, because this was like the place where you would expect Honora to win as a serious Best Picture frontrunner. Like
Yeah.
winning actress is what I just would have anticipated for the movie that people were saying is supposed to win Best Picture. So I never
But
even thought Demi
Mikey
Moore had a
Madison,
chance.
Mikey Madison went on Variety's Actors on Actors and said that she didn't like intimacy coordinators.
I think
So
that
then all
happened
of the
after the Golden Globes voting closed.
oh sure, I was making a joke anyway, but
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that plays a role for Oscars
it
voters,
probably does a
but
little bit. Yeah.
yeah, but I think for this award show, I don't know if that matters. But still, I mean, the people love Demi Moore. I don't know.
And I listen, I like Demi Moore. I
Yeah,
put her
she's
on one of
cool.
my favorite performances on this podcast
Yeah, no,
over
you
Mikey
did.
Madison. Yeah.
You did. Well,
Like
you also said you gave her a pity spot on the list because you didn't want
no pity spot.
to. Yeah, because
Pity
you
spot.
said I would have just done Margaret Qualley, but I didn't want to be that
No,
guy. So
but then also there is something to say. It's like it is their performances kind of like
Yeah.
they don't, it doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's both of them
Oh, sure, yeah,
together.
retroactively kind of taking back your words so that you don't look like an asshole
Margaret
because
Qualley is also
now she's
awesome.
Golden Globe winner Demi Moore, so you can't really say the same stuff about her that you
Oh,
did just earlier today. um, anyway, yeah, I mean that's listen, it's a shocking win, and this is one of the categories where it shakes things up for the Oscars. It is no longer like Mikey Madison is running away with the Oscar. It is now maybe three or four people all have a real chance at that Oscar. And we don't
listen, and
like.
yeah,
I don't know, and I'm even more curious because we'll get to another acting win later on.
well,
Now
this
I'm
is what
even
I was
more
gonna
curious
say.
who the five nominees will even be because
Yeah,
this stuff shakes it up a lot. Because with Demi Moore winning this, it feels like she has to. I mean, there's no way she gets left off of the nominees at least, but Mikey doesn't get left off still. Angelina Jolie, I don't think, despite the loss, gets left off. And so, does that mean, I'm just
I
gonna say
think
it,
I
Fernando
think
Torres winning and maybe getting in knocks out like Carla Sofia Gascon, which that can't happen either because Amelia Perez is so strong. So it's like, what is,
I
you
think
know?
Angelina. Oh my god, I think that Angelina Jolie is not a given here. I don't think she's a given
I don't think
nomination.
she's a given, but I think if we were to assume that the two winners tonight, Fernando Torres and Demi Moore, get nominations, and then Mikey Madison still gets the nomination, and that means maybe there's a situation where like Angelina Jolie and Nicole Kidman are now fighting for like the last spot, and only one of those people gets in, or
That's
something like
possible.
that. I
That's
mean, that's
possible.
like because you also have to. I don't know. I mean, I guess it could be all of those people. I guess the field of five could be Fernando Torres, Angelina Jolie, Nicole Kidman, Mikey Madison, and Demi Moore. But then that means Carla Sofia Gascon's not in. So
Right.
so
That's
that's
also
like,
possible. I'm gonna
yeah,
be honest. I think there's
I don't
still a
know.
world where Fernando Torres doesn't get nominated.
I agree, actually. Yeah, because
Which,
this has
because
happened at the Globes. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like,
It is
I don't
kind of
think
a
that's
Globes thing. I mean,
unreasonable.
if anything, that could be, listen, I haven't seen the movie. I've heard that she's amazing in it. And so it's like,
It's the 80th highest rated movie on Letterboxd.
yeah, but it's like, are the Globes cool again? Or were
Um,
they ever? I don't know. But like, are the Globes cool now? It's like they made some pretty like inspired picks tonight. Like they made some.
yeah,
I mean, Amelia Perez winning all those isn't exactly inspired, but giving it to Fernando Torres over Jolie, who everybody thought was a front runner, and all these. I mean, it's not even like Fernando Torres had the second best odds or anything. Like people would have assumed it was Jolie and Nicole Kidman before you even consider
yeah.
Fernando. So it's like I don't know. They're making interesting decisions.
I will say though, I do think that despite what I said about Fernando Torres, I do think that this win solidifies Demi Moore as like the front runner now. It's like it's Demi Moore, and then who's gonna take it from Demi Moore, and I think that we're gonna see her win more critics awards as we go on, as bigger critics bodies awards
Yeah,
happen.
I mean,
But
SAG is really when we start to figure out what this
SAG
all
for
means.
acting stuff really matters. Who gets
Yeah, that's
nominated
when
at
we
SAG?
really start to figure out what this is all actually about. But I
Yeah,
think between those six people I named, it's it's going to be really interesting to see who gets left out. Um, it's also really interesting that notably my favorite performance of the year is not even included in either of these categories. But the
yeah,
Golden Globes can't be perfect, I guess. Maybe SAG and the Oscars fix that mistake, but I mean that seems impossible now with all of the other people in the running. Um, anyway, and then for film, comedy or musical actor, Sebastian Stan won.
for A
Which
Different Man.
yes,
And
for
that
a different man,
this
which
movie, A Different Man, won the Gothams aren't like an indicator for anything, but it won Best Picture at the Gothams,
yeah,
which
and
is interesting.
I thought that Sebastian Stan was definitely the most deserving in this field, but I did not expect him to win. I thought it would go to Jesse Eisenberg because I was under the impression that people kind of liked A Real Pain, but like weren't going to give it an award anywhere else, and so maybe they gave Jesse Eisenberg the acting award as like payment for the fact that they also liked his directing and writing, but not enough to give him a win in those categories. But no, it just went to Sebastian Stan, and yeah, deservedly so. I mean, that's a like I said, listen, Globes not perfect, but that's a good pick. Like that, I mean, I know you haven't seen the movie. He's really fucking good in that movie. So I like that choice. I'm pretty happy with that. I Oh, were you gonna
This
say
me
something about
well,
Sebastian Stan?
is a different man going to be nominated for Best Picture at the
I don't
Oscars?
think so. I
There's
don't
10
think so.
spots. That's a lot
But
of spots. There has to be
it
10
is a lot of
movies.
spot. I mean, listen, it'd be cool. Certainly, it'd be better than at least one of the movies that's going to get nominated instead. I could say
um,
that much. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I'm not super confident in that, and I'm not even super confident in Sebastian Stan getting nominated for either of his performances at the Oscars. But I wouldn't be surprised, and I know you aren't, and you and Owen would really not like the sound of this, and I technically wouldn't either, although I guess to a lesser degree since you guys gave me shit for it before. But if Sebastian Stan was going to get nominated, he would probably be knocking out Daniel Craig, if anybody.
Yeah.
For the because the other four guys feel like I mean, he's not going to knock out Coleman Domingo, Timothy Chalamet, you know, uh, Adrian Brody
That would be bad.
or Ray Fiennes. Sorry. Um, so
Get Ray Fiennes out of there, bro.
listen, man, I like him, and also
I like him
I
too.
like when he like shows up. If I was saying this before as well, and I know this is man him do I don't. This is like such a fucking me being like a 40-year-old instead of a 25-year-old thing to say.
Damn, you're
But
old.
I watched that clip of him at the New Year's show like 20 times, dude. I thought that shit was so silly. He's just such a like fun guy. I just like him. He's just silly. He's just silly. He made me laugh. Um anyway, Sebastian Stan, a different man. I already mentioned, but best animated film went to Flow, which I think is also a cool pick. I mean, I really want to watch that movie. I know you obviously would have liked to see Memoir of a Snail win, and so would I because
Yeah.
it's the only movie in
Flow's
this
probably
category
good
that I've
though.
seen.
Flow's
But yeah,
probably good.
Flow genuinely looks like a good movie. I think I would enjoy it. So that's actually like I don't know, the fact that it just kind of surprised the Wild Robot, which people have talked about as like kind of the guaranteed pick of this award season, maybe even more than Kieran Culkin or whatever, and it lost. So that's exciting. Um, Director went to Brady Corbet for The Brutalist.
Huge.
Yeah, I mean,
Deserved. Deserved.
I thought it was between him and Sean Baker, and then as the night went on, I felt pretty confident that by the time they announced the award, I was like, it's going to Brady, and then it did. So, yeah, I don't know if this is also one of those picks where it feels like we're getting closer to it being a lock to win the Oscar, but it feels like the only people who could really contend with him at the Oscars are, I guess, still Sean Baker, and then like maybe Edward Berger if Conclave really does
I was
win
gonna
Best
say Edward
Picture.
Berger. I think Edward
Yeah,
Berger, you can't count him out, especially specifically in this category. You cannot count out Conclave.
yeah, but I also
Um,
think Brady Corbet's speech is something that will
that was a big
like
indicator,
the
more than
voter the
him even
voters
winning.
will yeah
Yes.
the voters will like everything he had to say, because it's you have to like keep in mind that the people voting for him are the director's
Yeah.
branch
Yeah.
who
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
who listen to him say that directors need more credit. So I think they're I feel like they will really rally behind him. I think he did himself a favor talking like that, because when you compare that speech to like John M. Chu's speech for winning the box office award, I think it's pretty clear who the directors are going to want to vote for. So, but yeah, I
Yeah.
guess you can't count out Edward Berger, I guess, because if Conclave really does win Best Picture, then winning Best Director wouldn't be that surprising. Um, the fucking win of the night, our next category, Best Score to Challengers. I I jumped out of my seat and I fucking
Electric.
ran around the room. I literally
My
I did
stream I was
I
watching
did
was behind, and
circles
I
around
got
the
like my
room.
phone was fucking buzzing like a dildo in my lap with
Okay,
like with all
Doug.
with
Doug,
all of
I
the.
know it's late at night when we're recording, but this episode still goes public. It's like people listen to
No,
this.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Uh,
But everybody was talking about
This is like
like
the most like off the rails we've probably gotten to be on the. I think we're riding the Golden Globes high, and we're just being silly.
no,
Um,
but everybody was talking about the fucking win and my phone before my stream even got there. And I was like, God
yeah.
damn.
Nah, I mean, listen, I was pumped. I was pumped. I mean, this is because this is the thing for me. This is like almost like my best picture because it's like, what
Yeah.
is my favorite? Because it's my favorite movie of the year, and it can't compete in any other category. So to me, it winning this is like it might as well have won Best Picture. You know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
because if it wins at the Oscars, it'll just be nice. You know, it'll be nice to be like challengers, an Oscar-winning movie. You know, is it? Do we have to say which Oscar? No, but it's an Oscar win, you know, like it's nice. Um, and it deserves it. It is like a great score. I mean, I really had no confidence. I really thought The Brutalist would win this one, especially now knowing that it won so many of the other categories. And I'm pretty sure at the Oscars it's still not a sure thing. I'm pretty sure The Brutalist could still win the Oscar, especially if it goes on to win like five, six, seven other Oscars.
Mhm.
Um, but it would be cool if challengers won an Oscar. That'd be neat. Um, anyway, that's best score. Best song, I assume you don't have much to say. It was El Mal, which is the Amelia Perez song. One of the two Amelia Perez nominated best songs.
That's how the song sounds to me.
Yeah, no, that is. No, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know any of the songs by name, and you just doing that made me realize exactly what song it is that just won.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, it's like whatever. It's like
Yeah, I mean that was a yeah, that's dumb. I
it's like
also
whatever,
knew
dude.
it's like I'm gonna be honest. Best song at these award shows is for me on the same level as like cinematic and box office achievement. I literally don't care about. I don't think I've ever once cared about the best song winner. I mean, unless like if one of the like 10 music artists I listened to was nominated for an Oscar for best song, I'd be like, yeah, maybe I have some vested interest, but like
Adele won best song
that's
for
true. I
the
do like Adele. Actually, I was listening to Adele yesterday in the car, so you know what? Maybe you're onto something. Maybe I
that's
do
one of
care
her
about.
best songs too. When the sky
No,
falls,
but the thing is like that's
let
like
it
when they used to give it to songs
crumble.
that deserve it. You know what I mean? Now it's
Yeah.
like now the past few years, like the Oscar for best song, I'm like looking at the nominees and I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck. Like it's like these suck. So
Well, no, it was like that Miley. I don't even know what the fuck that Miley
no, the
Cyrus
Miley
song
Cyrus song
is.
is pretty good. It's in The Last Showgirl. I watched The Last Showgirl
Okay,
and it
I was
played
just like,
and it
I
played
didn't
it.
know this was a
Yeah,
thing.
it played at the end, and I was like, oh, that's pretty catchy actually. I like that song. I enjoyed it. Anyway, after best song, we get to the award I was just referencing. The Cinematic and Box Office Achievement Award, which went to Wicked.
Wicked. What a wicked
I think
world we live in.
I think Wicked's
And
only
then
win
John
of
M.
the night.
Chu
Is
gave a
that correct?
5-minute speech.
Wicked's only win of the night. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess not that surprising, but that's another movie that people have been talking about as the big riser, getting into that best picture favorite territory, and perhaps only winning cinematic and box office achievement. I know people were kind of saying it's doing the Barbie route, and I feel like
What
this
does doing the Barbie route mean?
like 10 nominations and one win or something.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and like in this case, and I'm pretty sure Barbie also left the Golden Globes with cinematic and box office achievement and not much else. And so if that's any sign of how the Oscars will go, I think it might be similar where Wicked gets 10 11 Oscar nominations and wins one of them, if that. um so I don't know. It's interesting because Wicked has been such a like riser in those best picture odds, and now it seems like maybe people were overdoing it a bit, but also like I don't know.
I have a friend that made a $50 bet that Wicked would win Best Picture like a couple months ago. People are going crazy for it.
It's probably a wasted $50, but
Yeah.
like you can't like I don't know. I can't guarantee it. Like,
That shit's not winning, bro. It's not happening.
I don't know. I like the thing is the reason why I have less confidence in it now is because if it was going to overperform somewhere, it would be the Globes. Like, it
Yeah,
would
it
be
would
the
be this fake
Globes
ass
movie.
award show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, is feeling less like a fake award show. I mean, like, that's my point, is that, like, I think I think the way that the Globes went tonight, and if this is how they will consistently go every year, they will be more of an Oscar indicator than they were in the past when they would just give it to, like, give everything to Wicked, for example. Um, I don't know. Anyway, that's cinematic and box office achievement. I assume you have nothing else to say about the other nominees, or
John
that.
M. True gave mad, a really long
Yeah.
speech.
Oh, yeah, he yapped. He yapped. I'm gonna be honest, I've never heard that man talk before, and I can't believe that that guy on stage is the guy that directed Step Up 3. I don't I just I listen, I love the movie. I didn't know that that's who he was, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I had seen pictures of him before, but I did not know that that was his personality. So, you know, it happens. Okay, and then the big 4 awards at the end of the night. Uh Best Actress in a Drama went to Fernanda Torres, who we mentioned before, and another one of the surprise wins of the night. I mean, over Angelina Jolie, like we said, over Nicole Kidman. Um,
Yeah, I mean, really, like, out of nowhere, you know?
yeah. Well, I said I remember when I was like, I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but at least some people who I talked to when I was looking at like those Best Actress kind of like odds rankings, and Fernanda Torres was like in the eighth or ninth spot. I was like, I will not be surprised if this if she kind of like sneaks up that list a lot, because people were talking about I'm Still Here so positively. Um and the Oscars, pretty international body, you know.
Yeah, it's true. This is true.
Um Interesting. I don't know what it all means, but yeah, I was quite surprised by that, and especially so as like somebody who was really rooting for Angelina Jolie. But it's hard to get upset about it because I'm comparing it to a movie I haven't seen. So
Right.
maybe
Right.
I watch I'm Still Here and I think she's even better than Angelina Jolie, and then uh, and then Best Actor in a Drama went to Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, which was I think the hardest award of the night to predict, because there was like, four, maybe even five people who could have won it. Really, four people, I think, who could have won it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised by any of those four. But
So this is a cool win. Probably my favorite. Uh, I don't know. Well, probably the best outcome. Like, I don't know. He's really good in the movie. He's really good in the movie.
yeah,
But I do think that there is something to ask here, where it's like, if Timothy Chalamet can't win these major awards for playing Bob Dylan, when is he gonna win? You know, he spent 5 years becoming Bob Dylan. He spent 5 years working on this movie. When is he gonna
yeah.
win? You know what I mean? It's like, what is? He's
Oh yeah, I
29.
mean you're right. Yeah.
Like,
Um, I mean maybe let's not go nuts. He's 20. You say he's 29. He would be the youngest winner in this category.
by like a couple of months from Adrian
Sure,
Brody, who was also 29 when he won
sure, but
for The
that's
Pianist.
that's like denying like 100 years of Oscar history where everybody was
I
older
know,
than
no, but
Adrian
my thing
Brody.
is
So
like,
it's like,
but my
yeah,
thing
I
with
think
him
he
is
still
like,
has plenty of time.
yeah, he'll win eventually, but it's like he's not like a normal like 29-year-old actor, you know? He's
Yeah, he's
been
had
he's been
a
like in these awards
great career.
conversations since 2017, and it's like every
Yeah,
year. I don't know, it feels like it really feels like this was the year for it to
I mean, he
happen, and
really
now it's like,
probably should have won for Call Me by Your Name, but
yeah, of course,
um,
right? But it's like, but now it's like, okay, this is like, this feels like the year for it to happen. I don't know when, like, when is he just gonna win when he's 40 now? I
yeah,
don't know.
maybe
He could still
I
win
don't know.
the Oscar, obviously.
No, yeah,
He's
I
not
mean,
out of it,
and it's
but
like I don't know, like so could Coleman Domingo and so could Ray Fiennes, but
yeah.
like that's what I meant. I don't think anybody could have like with 100% certainty predicted Adrian Brody, but I guess he was like the person I was most confident in. And this just kind of confirmed it. So yeah, it definitely makes the best actor Oscar race a little bit less interesting, because I was already the most confident in Adrian Brody, and now I'm kind of like able to double down on that. But um, yeah, I don't know. And then the two best picture awards, which weirdly I don't know if you like had any feelings about this, but I'm pretty sure they almost always do drama second. Like the very last award is drama, and this time they did musical last, and so the Brutalist won drama, and then we ended the night on Amelia Perez winning musical,
Yeah.
which felt strange. It feels like, especially with the like the feeling of the night, but also like this could be too Twitter brain of me, where it's like to me the feeling of the night was people complaining about Amelia Perez, but all of the people there at the awards were probably happy about Amelia Perez winning. So it's like, you know, I guess our feelings don't really matter as much, but it feels like the Brutalist should have ended the night. Um,
You know what? Call me crazy, but okay. So, did you see the scoreboard? There was a
yes,
tweet of somebody posted like a scoreboard for the studios that was displayed inside the room where all the people were, but
I
it
did.
wasn't on the
Yeah,
on the broadcast. Call me crazy, bro. I think that the big Golden Globes are in Netflix pocket. I think they're in Netflix pocket, bro. I think this whole thing is a sham.
interesting. I think. Well, the problem, you know what the issue is that Netflix is gonna always top that like little leaderboard every year because the Golden Globes include television.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's always gonna be at the top.
So like Baby
Although
Reindeer and bullshit is gonna win. Like,
exactly,
yeah.
yeah. Um, but like, but also Amelia Perez is a Netflix movie, which won 4 of them. So really, I I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're onto something because they wouldn't
Well,
Netflix
just
wouldn't be on the
because,
top without Amelia Perez. So
yeah, and just because you're like, oh, it's like kind of feels weird that we ended the night on Amelia Perez instead of the Brutalist, and I was like, maybe it
right,
was to make somebody happy. I don't
yeah.
know. We're pushing
Oh, yeah.
narratives here. We're already talking about Amelia Perez as like a faux fucking politics thing, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
No, I mean, sure, fair point. Do you have any input after tonight on the field of 12 Best Picture nominees here and which 2 will be knocked out for 10 Oscar Best Picture nominees? I'll read you the list if you
Okay, I
want.
was like, oh.
So the drama category was A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nickel Boy, September 5, and The Brutalist. And comedy was A Real Pain, Honora, Challengers, Amelia Perez, The Substance, and Wicked. I would personally probably assume that September 5 and Challengers get knocked out, and then the other 10 remain.
Challengers is
But you
for
could
sure
also knock out
not.
A Real Pain.
It's probably September 5 and Challengers. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, it's like, I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, at least, the very least, Challengers is in the score race. I don't, and it was represented in several other races at the Globes, as many as A Real Pain, probably, if I had to get, because Zendaya was nominated, and yeah, I don't know, but it's probably A Real Pain, I guess. Uh, do you want to, before we end it, make a prediction based purely off of the end of the Golden Globes on who is going to win Best Picture at the Oscars?
What if I go crazy here?
Do it. Go, Galaxy Brain.
I'm gonna say Conclave.
Okay.
I'm
I
gonna
don't know if
stick
that's
with it.
I don't know if that's that crazy,
I'm gonna
but
stick with it. I know, but like I feel like a smart person would be like, "Oh, the Brutalist," but no, I'm gonna stick with Conclave. I think it's Conclave.
can I say something?
Yeah.
What if I predict Amelia Perez?
I like. Oh,
Because hear me out. Because hear me out.
that would be crazy.
Conclave Brutalist is who we think the competition is between. A year that
No,
notably there is not a super clear front
no, but
runner.
this would be the first time
Do the
Netflix
votes
won Best Picture.
fall to Amelia Perez? You know
Netflix
what I
has
mean?
never
People split
Netflix has
over
never
Conclave and
won
the
Best
Brutalist, and
Picture.
then all of a sudden, Amelia Perez cleans up the bottom and
The
swoops
bottom.
in for the surprise win.
Yeah, no. That would be crazy. Uh,
I it's either that or like weirdly like Honora comes in out of nowhere as like the movie not getting the votes, just like the
How do we get queer to win? What do we got to do for queer
oh,
for queer?
you're gonna have to do work to get it nominated. Like
What do we got to do? Is it even shortlisted?
I don't think so. No, it is, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
but no, yeah, yeah. I think it's a little too late for that. You might have to, you'd have to spend some real cash. You'd have to spend some Netflix cash to get queer in there. Okay, yeah, you know what? I'll predict. Fuck, I don't want to say. Listen, everybody listening, remember that I said that about Amelia Perez, but I will just go against Doug and predict The Brutalist wins Best Picture since Doug picked Conclave. Um, okay, we can end it there for the episode. Next week, episode 100. Like I've been saying, please, please, please submit your questions in time for us to have them all to go through before episode 100. Um, and that's it. We will see you later.
Episode
Bye.
100.